Gotta blow some dust off this mic here. It's been a year. We're back. Hello, friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're here. We're going to be getting back into my campaign that I am the Dungeon Master of for this session. Just some housekeeping. We are well into an adventure starting session 50. That is 5-0. Not all of that is streamed. This has been kind of a back and forth game in person and, on weekends and over the stream here. So this is the, very first game I ever started running in the very first world that I've ever built. These are some of my very close friends. This is like a backyard game. It's not a made for stream. I'm here. Haha! But all my friends' voices, there are 7 of them, will just be coming through. They don't have cameras on. They have kids and lives and partners and things that, are distracting. But we're just going to play this game. All the adult warnings are on. They're there for a reason. We don't mean any offense, but this is a pretty rowdy group, so you have been warned. We're playing Pathfinder 2E. Pretty by the book. I do have a tendency to homebrew a little bit on the rules stuff, and the setting is obviously 100% homebrewed. This will likely be a very heavy in role recap and role play. So if you're here to watch people smash things, I can almost guarantee that will likely not happen. At least not tonight. That's something that happens quite frequently in the campaign, though. So without further ado, we're going to get back to it. We'll do a big O long recap. We will introduce some characters, and then we'll be on our way. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, guys. I'm back. I'm live. I'm super fucking stoked for D&D tonight. I'm glad that we're here. I'm going to start with a super big recap because it's been a year since we've played this campaign. I know that you guys have been looking over your notes, and I appreciate that. But as in a very general sense, here we are. We are starting our 50th session. Most of you guys are playing the same characters from the beginning who have been adventuring together for quite a while now. And you have, you started off in the small swamp town of Irrigan serving Lord Oldebrant, who is dead, and that town does not exist anymore, and it was leveled by a dragon. You got this cursed item. You met this wizard who... I'm getting a little bit of feedback of myself on somebody. You got this item, and you told to go talk to the wizard. He cured you, but kind of warned you, hey, everything you guys get are going to be cursed. They're going to be beacons. You're going to know. They are going to know. And I just actually watched this clip. Simone was like, who's they, fool? Who we talking about? And he basically said, the other dragons. And you guys... it's not as simple as take a bribe, but he asked you to help him. You said yes. And then he said, great, here's my stash of magical items. Take one and, go do this thing. You guys went and did this thing, found this helmet. It is also cursed. You have found that out. Kythar specifically found that out by having the helmet placed on him by Simone. He could see the era's past, but he's completely blind if he doesn't wear the helmet, and it shows the world as it was a millennia ago, not the way it is now. So we ended you guys lost a party member in the climactic battle at the end of the last act, and so you guys are at the moment a party member down, and we left with you all standing triumphantly on top of this pile of gold, having defeated this dragon, but also in the process destroyed this archway that undead were flooding out of that had been altered in some way to the way it used to originally function, and in its destruction there's no trace of this dragon, and you guys witnessed a huge level of destruction as it blew out the back half of this building. You guys are standing here. We know some of what's going to happen next, but there is something important happening with Simone and with Wild, and so that is where we are going to start our session with a tired, bloodied, and beaten party, heaving breaths as they regain their composure, as the ringing in all of your ears begins to die down from the sound of gunshots and the explosion of this portal. Simone, why don't you take it away for us, bud? What's going on here?
All right, you guys can all hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, great. So Simone and Wilb, who currently right now is a two-headed, cat, one of a head of a snake, one of a head of a tiger, right? Purple and black. They start like falling to the ground and start writhing like they're on fire. Like Simone's like rolling back and forth. You see him like arching his back, and you see like his hands contorting while Wilb is doing the same thing, and you hear like screams, like tiger roars and like snake hisses and things like that. When you see Wilb, change, you see like the snake head starts to like go inside of Wilb, and Wilb starts changing from a fur to a scale, and you see it starting from his nose and goes down, like he's like changing. You see scale, and everything changes to scale of like a it's like a like a jaguar pattern where it's like black on the top, and on the bottom it has like those rings, and you see him slowly change into where Wilb was once a cat, he is now a dragon himself. And once that changes, you see Simone kind of like stop, stop moving and like kind of pass out for a second, and then once he changes, he unmanifests himself, and so Simone right now is currently passed out.
What unmanifested itself?
Wilb did.
So he poofed?
Because he always poops when Simone is unconscious.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it.
So if I'm sleeping, he can't be manifested if I'm sleeping or whatever, right? So as soon as then Simone lost consciousness, Wilb then, unmanifested after the change of, turning into a dragon. And he looks like this too. Let's see. Can I show? Oh, I can't show everybody. He still has, so he looks like a dragon, right? But he still has like cat-like features, if that makes any sense. I think David can click on Wilb's portrait and then click show all players if he's interested. It's whatever. But yeah, so right now Simone is passed out right at the end. He's like totally just on the floor, passed out.
Hey, somebody want to check on him? Wait, what happened? Who passed out? Wait, what's going on?
There's another dragon. Get the bow.
Oh, fuck. I can't see shit. How the hell am I supposed to shoot it? Calm down. There's not another dragon.
I'm going to say,
it was
duck.
He said I'm gonna bear hug him, whisper in his ear. Listen, buddy. I got you. Okay. You just feel like Iomede's presence.
Enter you.
There it is. Through the rear, specifically. Why are my pants going down?
It's Iomede's power.
That's not a sword on the logo.
No, it's a dagger.
Double-sided.
Oh, funny.
Okay, so
the serious moment happens and everyone starts joking. So
yeah, that's par for the course. But the important part is that it maybe not is obvious to everyone, but the timing of it is at the very least coincidental. That this portal collapses and the entire form of the dragon that you were fighting disappears, and in that same moment, as this crackling of magical energy is like lingering in the air, that is like the backdrop of this transformation and then collapsing of Simone and Wilb. So your players may speculate, or your characters rather may speculate as to what they think it is, but I would say that outside of perhaps a Tesk, there wouldn't be anyone who would even have a clue
as to what happened to Simone and Wilb.
Right. Just a big old fat.
They'll be fine.
I didn't even see what happened. Should we go? If we're not going to do a dungeon today, I'm going to try and use lay on hands on him just to see what it does. Hey buddy, wake up. Here's some good energy. Smack him on the face. Lay on hands here.
I'm about to say, that's up to Anthony what happens.
It's like one of those Godfather slaps, so you're like, hey. You know what I mean? Like,
Pull yourself
I know.
together.
Let me lay this hand on you. Yeah.
Simone wearing his goggles, you don't really see his eyes open, but you feel him like stirring. He goes, "Oh, what the fuck, fool?
Hey, you
What the fuck? Oh,
See, he's fine.
I feel like I went through like a fucking pizza oven and shit, man."
I mean, Will changed. Did he go through a pizza oven?
Where what? And I look around.
Changed.
Where?
Well, you
Where is
passed
he?
out.
Well, no shit, Sherlock. I'm saying what Will? What happened to Will?
Well, I don't know. What happens to him when you pass out?
Hey, I just
No, he
woke up,
changed
fool.
into like this dragon.
And this is the rest of the session. These two just ask each other for 3 hours.
The gang gets confused.
I'm gonna be like, just give me a minute, fool. I need to like collect myself. Whew, I'm gonna be like that, pouring like some water into my hand and like splashing my face, wiping down my goggles and such.
Which would be fairly dust covered after the back half of this building got blown out
Yeah.
from the explosion.
Yes, for sure.
David, do I need to do my pray thing after the dialogue, or is that still like recounted in this?
No,
How do you want to do that?
I got you. Is there anything else that anyone specifically wants to do here in the ruins of Isolde?
I'm gonna try and convince. If I was waiting for Simone to be recollected, because if you can, I'm gonna try and convince you to get Wilb to help me carry some gold out of here. Because look, I can take all this gold back to my temple, and they can help me, or we might be able to get something good out of this.
Hold on, fool. Whoa. You said all this gold, fool?
No, as much gold as we can get.
We can get, fool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need to know, how does this benefit me, puto?
As much as you
Well,
carry,
we survive and we kill all the dragons and we get all the artifacts.
That's the goal, right? And you're telling me your God could have done this the whole time?
No.
What happens to God only helps the people help themselves, fool?
I'm saying I can maybe get some people in my temple to help us.
Oh, sorry. How so, fool?
And I can divert funds towards the scholars to help us, maybe even get some extra hands dedicated to our cause. There's a lot of people that are just like me out there.
And we want more of you putos?
And I'm gonna flex and then show my cute little booty, don't you?
I'm gonna flex and it's gonna look like SpongeBob's arm,
See what I mean? See what I'm saying, puto?
I'm like, hey, you're getting my vernacular, fool.
Hey, you're rubbing off on me.
He's definitely rubbing something on you.
And the temple would be forever in your favor. Maybe.
Maybe.
They're good
I don't-
people. I can't speak
I don't
for
work on
them.
maybes, fool. I'll think about it. I first want to check out this archway, fool, before we leave. The thing that dragon was connected to on its collar and shit. The thing that the undead were pouring out of. Kind of the whole reason the dragon had his power and shit. Shouldn't we check that out, right?
And I can assist with that with my knowledge religion. Maybe.
You guys
I'm
make
just declaring my intentions.
Yeah.
so-
You guys make your way over to the archway because we're trying to cinematically bend as much of this as we can. You guys make your way over to the archway, and I will take a religion and an arcana rolls from you respectively. Let's test out these character sheets. See
Public or private?
if they work public. I just they're not. These rolls are cinematic. I'm not super worried about hiding stuff. Where
I found out what? You
What's
said
that?
Arcana religion?
oh, I'm sorry. I was referring to the two people who were going over and looking at the archway. What did you guys get? Can I see
I
it?
got a 28.
I guess I should open up the chat. 28, 23. Oh, great rolls. Well, I guess we are playing 2E, so 30 is really your more great roll threshold, which will take me a little adjusting to hit there. But that's definitely middling enough to understand that there is definitely whatever connection was here, whether it was the original connection or the altered connection is unclear, but whatever connection was here has been severed. And there is this like magical charge which is, residing afterwards. But you guys both, and even probably a Tesk, are able to identify that as almost like a byproduct of this event rather than anything that has any inherent abilities itself. Reed, with your religion check, you know that there is like no more remnant of the undead, its influence here. Like, this place is sick, and this place is going to be a problem long term because of how many like dead zombie bodies there are laying around. Like, that evil, that's going to be like a magnet for evil, right? Despite the fact that this connection has been severed. But this archway, this is not a threat, but as a reminder, this archway is in front of this giant window. I don't know, this huge hole that it blew in the back of the building. It's like you're literally looking at the rest of the town, smelling the like overwhelming stench of death, which is like wafting in through this hole. Because you guys were like completely surrounded by this. They were like World War Z piled on top of each other, trying to get to the roof. So we're talking like thousands, tens of thousands of bodies out there. But the connection does appear to be severed, and like there are no signs of the amulet either.
Okay.
Down to the studs, ripped out, gone, obliterated. Crater in its place, like no sign of this thing left.
Like a bomb went off, essentially, right?
Straight up. And that, and that is what it felt like to you guys with the blinding light and losing, and becoming deaf and like needing to regain your senses. Like that was for sure the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's anything else.
I'm gonna tell Reed and be like, I don't think we're gonna get much from this fool. Doesn't seem like whatever the dragon was using is like fucking here anymore.
We should find our way out of here then. I'm gonna go pray for a solution and think about what I said.
Yeah, you go do that, fool. Like it's gonna help.
Okay.
I'm gonna get my walking shoes on, fool.
You guys are all standing there in this chamber with your fallen party member still laying there. As a reminder, you guys.
Oh.
Throw him in the pile.
I'll lay on hands everybody I can. Get them up. Wake up! Wake up! Spritz some water. Spritz some lay on hands on their faces.
Yeah, and then there's one.
Realize,
then there's one character that your lay on hands does not work on.
Ooh.
You go and you touch Sigbert, and he doesn't move or respond in any way.
Try it again.
Does anybody want to
You're
take him out of here?
You're like hitting his chest.
Wake up! My boy!
I've abandoned my son. And my boy. Oh, and not you, buddy.
Is there like I guess I'll do like a perception check. Is there anything in here that looks like it would be appropriate, like an appropriate burial for him? Or if not, maybe I can do like a knowledge religion check to see how I could appropriately send him off. A warrior send off.
He did give you a cultural rundown of like who he was and where he was from. Passed, some coins along, or a coin rather, along to Arthur.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
And so, I would say that probably without a roll required, you would know the like appropriate funeral rites, but you would know that like these grounds are not appropriate for that. Like this city has been desecrated to a point to where like burying his body here is just a guarantee, or doing anything to his body here is just a guarantee of like making sure that his spirit gets like tied up in whatever fucking nonsense is here. And you would need to carry him like outside of the city limits to perform any kind of funeral rite.
Galfast and Banjo would step up to carry him out because I'm not carrying much weight.
Sweet. Love that.
Banjo? Who's Banjo? Who's this?
He's been here the whole time. What are you talking about? Isn't that right, Banjo?
Making any noises?
Wee, 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 wee.
Banjo's dead?
And
Little guy, what do you think about that?
Banjo's not dead.
and as a reminder, yeah, Aaron used to have Galfast used to have a horse. Now he has an armored badger instead. But as it has always been, with a wave of the hand.
Yeah, it's like you can't remember. You're like, well, I thought.
Were you riding that badger the whole way here?
So, Reed's gonna do his thing while I get my note-taking device.
Yeah, you're all good. And Reed does bring up a good point. You guys also have this creepy little guy with you that you took out of the tombs. That's just like palling around with Reed. Also, this like many-fingered
Gross.
golem-esque, gross-ass slimy thing. Just like as a general reminder.
I'm gonna be like, ugh, get away from me, fool.
And
I thought all the undead died, fool.
I'm not undead. I'm just me.
You
Almost
look
worse.
Nobody
undead,
messed
fool.
with him. He's mine. Or he's not mine, but
I'm gonna like try to shoo him with my foot. I'm gonna be like, get, fool, get.
Okay.
he like scampers up the back of Reed's leg and like perches up on his shoulder.
it's all right, dude. I got you.
Reed goes back to his prayers in the middle of all this. Hey, thanks, bud. Appreciate you. Reed goes back to his prayers, and and you guys spend some time taking care of these funeral rites and collecting yourselves and healing up and regaining your strength. But ultimately, what ends up happening is that Kythar, with this helm on, which allows him to see a different time, gives him a better navigation sense of the city. And he can't see where he's going, but Reed, kind of is helping him like navigate the rubble and the parts of the world that he can't see. And as the party just kind of like moves through the city, once they have returned from the business that they have, they find themselves in, I don't know if you guys remember, you like took a tunnel system at one point in the city after you came out of the tombs. That was like the religious district where they were all tied together. He like takes you to an offshoot on one of those that you hadn't gone in before, and he's describing, this large chamber and this huge like summoning circle and all this stuff. And to you guys, it's like a dusty room full of rubble. And he kind of like directs you where to stand, and you are all essentially transported to, in a blitz, a fury of magical energies swirling around you, another flash of blinding lights, and a like extreme sense of disorientation. You find your feet solidly on ground once more, no longer with the stench of death in your nose, and instead what fills that is the smell of like pine needles and earth and the the coastal breeze, and you guys don't inherently recognize specifically where you are, but there's a small boulder which is kind of like sitting near where you are, and to Kythar's eyes, that boulder is a full-blown shrine, and it's a shrine to Iomade, and there's like a small village of like wooden structures which have all gone and deteriorated, right? But you, I guess I'm going to let Reed take it from here, who probably will need to explain to the party what happened and what he's been hearing, and like what the deal is.
So during that, go ahead.
Oh, so that just happened? Like we went through the tunnel, and then that magic kind of blitz just happened, just so I'm aware. So like, were we aware that we were just going to be like...
Yeah, Kythar's like down there pointing to where the magical circle is, and it's like ushering people to stand inside of it specifically and consciously. If anybody had like opposition to that, or anybody had anything they wanted to do in town, you know what I mean? Like, we can handle that, but this is... Reed will literally describe it right now, but this is essentially a favor that he's getting from his god.
Yeah, no, it's no problem. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like a surprise.
No, it shouldn't have been to you guys, because Kythar can like explain what he's seeing, with the helm.
Okay.
Does anybody want me to explain?
Yeah, there was a detail that was missed. Go ahead, Kythar.
So, when Kythar puts on the helmet, he will see the city as it once was at its height of its glory. with a prayer of Reed by his side of Iomade, he starts seeing like the aura of the of his prayers, essentially. So with the guide, he said, I see where it's going. I see kind of like a shiny area we should go to. So I like tell the party, follow me, let's go this way. Somebody's watching out for me. I'm hoping that I don't fucking trip over anything, but I am just walking in a certain direction where the city once was.
I'm not gonna say anything.
I'm helping him. Like as he's going through this, I'm like clearing the rubble in front of him.
Like steering him around shit. And...
Yeah.
Like Reed's gonna say left. I'm like, no, right, fool, right.
Pythar, didn't you roll the nat 20 for this moment too? For the
I did
like,
roll a nat 20, so that's what we're going back to. So I believe we finally get to the temple, and we walk in. I'm assuming the temple might be covered, but we find our way in.
Right, which doesn't look like a temple to you guys. It looks like just another set of ruined buildings. You only know that it's the religious district because, like, Reed was able to identify it as such when you guys were originally trying to navigate through here, the previous couple of days.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we get into the temple, and what I see is a diverse group of worshipers, and in the center of this room is a circle of scripture or the language of Iomade or whatnot, just glowing in a powerful essence. And I point to it as like, that's our way out. As Reed is still, I think, saying his worships and his chantments.
Can we see what he's pointing at in real life?
What he points to is the middle of a dusty empty room full of rubble.
Right. But I tell him that's when I think, we just get everybody to stand over that.
Okay.
And it's one of those things where you guys have I'm just kind of like presuming a certain level of trust between the party at this point, right? And realistically, like, you guys know that it's giant territory. There are hellhounds out there. There are, there were orcs. I guess there's not anymore. There's whatever else lives in the forest, and so this, like, Kythar being like, this is our way out is, like, keep in mind, it took you guys like a week to get here. So that would, I assume, be a pretty, like, that would resonate pretty well with the party by and large, right? That literally every step to get here strained every muscle in their body because they're carrying as much as they can physically carry. What should have been a 20-minute walk across town took 4 hours, and now you guys are here in this basement, right? And so this summoning circle goes off, and you guys find yourselves surrounded by a wood that is unfamiliar to you, and you guys take a moment to gather your bearings, but there is like a familiar sound kind of like off in the distance, and that is the sound of a wooden pan flute being played.
I'm gonna look at Kythar. Hey, did you see anything?
And as a reminder, Kythar, you see a small village with like wooden structures and farmland. And...
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is a new area. It's like, it's hardly anyone here.
No. Did Iomade show you anything?
On our way, I saw it. I saw the light, and oh my God, it was beautiful.
Yeah, you did.
I must see it again.
Ooh, I can take you there.
Please take me.
It's like broke back Iomade, fool.
And then I'm gonna point to the little like, what is it? It's a little shrine, you said?
No. He sees it as a shrine. You see it as a single boulder. Like the bottom stone of the shrine is the only thing that's left after all these years. So like the anchor stone is there. I mean, once Kythar points to it, that's where the shrine was, like,
Yeah.
it literally just looks like a rock to you. But
I'm gonna look at Simone. Hey, I told you she'd come through.
I'm gonna look at it and be like, it's a rock, fool.
No, it says Iomade.
I'm gonna say, wait,
Oh,
do you hear that?
It's a shrine to Iomade.
Oh, I hear
I'm gonna be
something.
like, you hear what, fool?
little pan flute in the background, weaving
that-
its way between the branches and the leaves.
I'm gonna have Banjo do a scent check.
Okay. Does he need to roll for a scent check?
It's
That's
a
a great
perception.
question.
It's a
Yeah.
perception check, but you would just roll scent.
All right.
So whatever his bonus to scent is.
I don't think that's right. Hold on.
That's
I've
just
not
a
used a pet
straight.
before.
That's just a straight wisdom. It looks like all you got was.
I always thought perception. If you have scent, you can use your perception. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Well, can you? That I rolled a perception initiative or that was just a regular perception
you don't
check.
do
But can you?
yeah, you don't do initiative. You just do.
It wasn't initiative. It was just a regular perception check, David. While I look into scent, do you just want to use that? However, I
Yeah,
rolled?
I'll use that, and
works.
that should be fine. You're able to detect, or Banjo is able to detect two distinct scents moving, probably at the outer limit of whatever his scent notification is, 100
Okay,
feet.
but it
or
wouldn't be
whatever.
like it wouldn't be a dangerous scent.
No. As a matter of fact, they specifically smell natural.
Okay, I'm gonna say yeah, man. I'm gonna say Banjo smells somebody. I'm gonna go look.
Did Kythar get all the dookie off him last time he shit himself?
It might be that.
I'm not gonna
Banjo
bait
might be
him again.
picking
I'm
that
not
up.
gonna do it. Somebody else has got to do it this time.
I'll pass.
I haven't been shitted in 3 days.
Oh God! You need to drink more water, fool. Eat more
This
fiber.
guy stinks.
I haven't had the chance.
You've been keystringing it the whole time, puto.
We're in battle. What would you do?
Or
I
Chris,
clap,
man.
I just keep going. I just walk and it drops, fool.
Did you see you shaking your pant leg?
Oh my god.
Okay,
yeah,
so
you see me shake my pant leg and it just falls out. No, there's your natural scent, fool.
so Galfast is walking away. He's in some sort of stealth. I'm hunkered down, headed towards the scent.
Is anybody else following him towards the center? Are you guys just hanging out in this like small clearing?
I can't.
Yeah, I'll follow him. Galfast is,
I got-
Yeah, the blind guy's like, I'm gonna hang out where I'm at.
Galfast is a
I
pretty
was-
interesting dude.
I was told that this rock is some significance, so I'm going to study it and see what significance it could be. I'm going to stay right here, fool.
I'll go with him so he doesn't go alone. So, Kythar, don't move.
He literally just freezes.
Those of you who go investigate the source of the sound, as you follow Galfast's lead, the sound gets louder and more clear. And between there are breaks in the music where you hear like a pair of voices. And the two who are specifically going after is Galfast and Reeves. Is that what I heard?
Mm-hmm.
I would like a straight up perception roll from you guys. You're trying to beat 30.
Is that mine? I don't know.
Looks like neither one of you hit it. So then it's just like the music sounds familiar. One of these two voices also comes through as familiar, but not the other, and you're having a difficult time placing it.
Galfast, does that ring a bell to
Keep
you?
your voice down. Keep your voice down. What'd you say?
Does that ring a bell?
I can't hear you.
Just speak up. I'm hard of hearing.
Pulls out one of those earworms.
Hey, shit! Quiet down! What?
Oh my god.
We should just cut it right here.
In your guys'
really close in his ear. Does that sound familiar to you?
I can't place it. That's not familiar.
As you guys are whispering amongst each other, the music stops, and so do the voices, and the whole, like this whole edge of the forest seems to be like in a bit of a standstill. And if you guys peek to see, cause the noise ahead, presumably, you are like crouched in this low position where there's like brush blocking things, and you can only see these figures from like the waist down, and you see two, you see what's obviously like a humanoid body of some kind, but the other one are two like furry legs ending in hooves. Like brown, thick tufts of fur.
So Galfast is remembering when we came through and we went with the Ents. Am I?
There were a couple of characters you guys met last time when you came through here. I'm gonna
Down back there. Hold on. I got some notes to go through.
I was about to say, it sounds like your party's got it. It sounds like your party's got it.
I
Maybe
think
you
I've
guys
got
could
it.
just
in my notes
call for
somewhere,
help.
too.
Just call your party for help. They're there. They're there to support you. You guys are a team.
Hey,
Pull out my
How
Motorola.
far away are they from us? I guess is a better question.
50 feet, 100 feet. I mean, not very far.
Hey Simone, do you remember this dude?
you're just hollering from where you're at.
I'm gonna turn around and go, "What puto?"
This guy, you
I'm
remember
gonna
him?
yell back too. "What fool?
He's
Yeah,
got
let's go fast."
hooves for legs.
Who? Are you talking about that one puto we saved at the orc camp?
I think so.
And you hear like a small exclamation come in front of you, and the voices that were at like a kind of a lower murmur before are like slightly louder now, and you hear the voice that you now recognize as Fornis, the fawn. He is who only has this pipe, this pan flute in the first place because you guys returned it to him after he was rescued. He, says, "Oh, I know these people. They're friends of the forest." To whoever, his companion is, as the two figures like approach your party, and Fornis is there with another individual who I am not going to describe, but I'm going to let Chris describe.
Alrighty. So you see this kind of tall human, thin. He's has dark brown full beard and like dark brown bushy hair, but he looks like he might be like covered in vines that might be kind of growing from him, in a sense, not covered, but here and there. And he just has like a happy kind of look on his face. He also has a staff with him that looks like it was from an oak tree, but at the top there's leaves growing from it. And then on his back he has a cloak that looks like it was made from possibly the same leaves. And then a shield that's kind of like a bright pink color that looks like a leaf there. And he's just... Yep, and he's just standing there.
Like, is it pink like how the leaves change color in fall? Like that kind of like reddish pink? Or is it just like hot pink?
Like almost like it's blossoming at the beginning or middle of spring.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I get what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. So like a bright pink. Yeah.
Yeah, bright, like pink.
Okay. Yeah.
But Fornis like bounds forward at the sight of you and like recognizes Simone calling people puto, and he like leads this this human man with him, and says, "These are friends of the forest. They saved my life." He says, and he like comes around the bend and sees all of you guys, makes eye contact with Arthur, and you see like kind of like a sour note, like a little bit like an awkward, like broken smile across his face. and he just like kind of like leans back and like whispers quietly, but not quietly enough. And one of them eats goat. And says, hello, friends. It is good to see you. And he like looks past you at all of these like bulging packs and this like huge weight that you guys are all physically carrying, and is like, it appears that you have done what you set out to do.
Well, we're 2/3 of the way there.
And so heading back from whence you came then to Edgetown, huh?
Is Edgetown nearby?
And he like points off. He like points off in a distance and says, "But a few hours that away." And Kythar can't like see where he's pointing or anything, but can, in his version
What are you
of
talking about?
his version of this, can at least hear the voice in the same direction that there's like a logging trail or like a footpath that also like kind of like winds off that way. As you know, as you guys are kind of like moving through it, he says, he's like, I'm happy to walk you to the forest edge if you like. Says, oh, I'm sorry, let me introduce you to, and he starts, and then he stops, and he like kind of pulls his hand back, and he's like, actually, maybe it's not my place to introduce my new friend here. He says,
It's okay. My name is Rowan. How are you guys?
How goes it, friend?
Oh, it goes well. It goes well.
Right now, it's just Galfast and Reed, right?
No, you guys are all.
No, we're all here.
Oh, we're all together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "What's up, puto?
Hello.
You look
How
like a
strong's
tree.
Why? Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just the spitting image.
Well, what are you guys off to today?
We're trying to make it back to Edgetown, fool. How strong's your back?"
I'm not sure. I've carried trees before, but nothing crazy.
That's pretty heavy, fool. That's pretty heavy.
I don't even think I could carry trees.
Well, it was a baby tree. He was just kind of came out from the earth, and I kind of relocated him to a place he felt that he needed to be.
Was the name of this baby tree named Bud?
You know what? I don't think I asked his name.
Well, great. Well, we're trying to make it back to Edgetown, fool. Mr. Oh fuck, I want to call him Mr. Fornus. Back, Fornus. What brings you back around over here, fool? This is like, I know we're like in the forest and shit, but why are you pounding around with Rowan? Rowan, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Rowan. And Fornus says that after you all left and the orc threat was eliminated, the forest became a much safer place, and travelers passing through Edgetown seem to be, travelers never come more than a few hours usually into the forest. And he turns, he says, but this one, he says, I found him the better part of a day's journey in, and making excellent time, traveling swiftly and talking with everyone he saw, and I just, it is after the orcs, I really could use someone to talk to.
And Hornus was great company as well.
Oh shucks, Rowan, thanks so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Look at that, boy. This is going to be our most wholesome episode.
Yeah, so Fornus offers to walk you guys back, and while he does, he talks up the party to Rowan and talks up Rowan to the party, and ultimately he's the one who ends up pitching now that I think about it, you guys would probably work well together. I don't know. He says, I know everyone has business of their own, but the world's a dangerous place. just kind of like makes a comment there. And then I forgot to mention this to you, Chris, on the back end, but in your journey, in your like first journey through Edgetown, just like along your travels, at some point you did get a, for lack of a better term, like a summons to they're called like the Order of Mana. And even with your background, you would have at least heard of them and know that they are they're kind of like the end all be all council of druids, and there's like one for every continent, and like that's the name for the one in this continent, and their like meeting place is in Karak. So that is just like on your laundry list of like events that have happened to you in the past. Just want to let you know that as the session continues forward.
Hey, DM, would you mind putting on the map in Foundry of Valmora for me, please? Because right now it's on Tomb 1 right now.
Oh, you know what? I'm
so-
looking at
just so
stuff. I forgot to activate it. I've been looking at the world map literally this whole time.
I don't have a token with vision in the scene, by the way. Just because when you talk about places, it'd be nice to see where they're
No,
at.
I super thought that I had that shit all up already. So give me a second. Try reloading if you don't have vision.
It works.
No, it works now. Perfect. Thank you.
I'm in.
You
Okay.
said Karak, sorry.
Yeah, so you guys are in Edgetown here. Karak is here.
Yeah.
Now, as a reminder,
Karak.
this is the world map. You guys actually probably want the local map, would be my guess. Let me also give you vision here if you don't have it. Oh no, you should already be able to see this one.
Yeah, I see.
Okay, so you guys are like down here in the ruins. There's a forest on the like between this set of mountains, because remember you traveled through the forest for like a day or two, and then you started up into the mountains. So like that is in this kind of vicinity. So you're very close to Edgetown now. Karak is up here. This journey is like, this road is an old road. It is not a currently active one. The desert is so inhospitable that if you do not take precautions, you will die on a multi-day journey traveling it.
Nissan Nagagi!
Wait, what?
I understood that.
I'm not. I have to leave after that, fool.
So you guys get to the edge of the forest, and like Edgetown, opens up in front of you. Forness like wishes you guys the best of luck. Says that you will always be welcome here. That you are true friends of the forest, and that they hope, that they'll never have to call upon you again. But it is good to know that there are friends who will help when it is needed. He thanks you guys a bunch for that. He doesn't really have anything to give you guys, but he plays you guys a ballad that he wrote in your honor as a parting gift.
I'm gonna point at Rowan and be like, "What's your plan, fool? You got anything to do?"
Yeah, I heading towards Karak. I'm gonna probably head through Edgetown. If you guys don't mind, I walk with you, adventure with you, whatever you gentlemen call it.
I don't know, fool. What we're doing is kind of a curse, puto.
Oh, there's no such thing as curses, just bad circumstances. I'm sure someone will just get through it real
I'm
quick.
gonna take off the helmet and look him deep in the eyes. I'm hoping I'm had the blind eyes.
Yeah, you've got all whites. Yeah.
Crazy eyes. Your eyes are not focused.
Pointing in different directions, Mr. D.
No.
He's staring at a tree, not even rowing.
Yeah, you beat him to it. Oh,
Okay,
man.
I do that shit, you asshole.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, Karthar. Keep going.
No, he already says it. Basically, that's what he sees.
Rowan sees him staring at the tree, and he's just gonna kind of join him and start staring at the tree as well,
No.
looking at it.
Simone, you want to tell him?
I'm gonna be like, hold on real quick, and I'm gonna kind of huddle the party real quick. Come on, we need to discuss something real quick, fool. And I'm gonna ask the party and be like, do we really want to bring someone in on this? Like, it's not the fact like about the gold and shit. Like, yeah, the gold's cool, but this is a curse, and we got like fucking dragons coming after us, right? Like, do we want to doom another soul to potentially death? Like,
Yes.
in my good conscience. I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, you warned him.
Wait, am I even in the huddle or am I still staring off?
You're in the huddle, but you're pointed outward instead of inward.
You like took a knee and everyone's just standing.
So glad I'm the comedic relief.
It makes you feel any better. Joe had to deal with this shit for 3 sessions, and you're only gonna have to deal with it for 1. So
No, man, I had fun with that shit. That was fun.
I'm like, it's just, on my conscience, fool. Like, I guess if we clearly lay out like the dangers and shit, he's a person, he can make his own decisions, right?
Well, why do we have to tell him the dangers?
I mean,
It's a
we should let him know.
surprise.
He should know. He should know the dangers.
The only thing
The
he
last
does,
guy got obliterated.
Arthur
doesn't even know about that. He
Arthur
doesn't even know about
pipes in. Transparency is the best policy.
What if we tell him that the last party member is no longer with us?
the only thing Rowan, because I'm pointing in the wrong direction, the only thing Rowan is gonna hear is like, it'll be a surprise.
Standing over there.
I'm gonna be like, okay, fool. If you want to invite him in, I'm totally fine with that. But in my opinion, we should at least like fucking tell him what he's up against.
I agree with Simone.
I'm gonna get out of the huddle and turn in a completely different direction. Wait, come here.
He's facing away from him now. Yeah.
He's calling Rowan over.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were like you're deeply in a conversation with a few ants. So you do have uncles.
4,000 of them, you say?
Hey, fool. We've deliberated, and since we lost, or the last party member, we have
No longer with
parted
us.
Ways. He is no
No,
longer
he
with
died.
us.
He's dead. He's dead. You should know.
Guys, I said it was a surprise.
Well, everything dies. It's just
He was
the end
there
of
one
that
second
season.
and he wasn't the next.
We think
Alright.
that you should know like what the fucking dangers are.
Oh, it's just gonna be a walk in the park. It'll be fine.
What parts
We
have
have-
you walked through?
See,
All of
perfect.
them.
So
You been to Yosemite?
Of course.
That
so
ancient
then,
forest?
oh, sorry.
That's where my grandma's from. Did
Aw.
you see her?
More than likely, if she was in the forest.
Well, she'd more likely be chasing you with an axe. Did anybody do that?
Well, no. Why,
And then,
why
and
would
then
she have an
Kythar,
axe?
and then Kythar remembers that all of his family died in an orcish raid.
Oh, that's right. She wouldn't have.
He gets real quiet. Yeah.
Aw.
They didn't die, fool. We parted ways. Remember?
It's a lie you guys are telling me to keep me happy.
They're straight up gaslighting you about your own family history.
Oh, this is so good. This is great.
I'm gonna cinemove us a little bit here, because if your intention is to make sure that your new party member understands the risks that are being undertaken, I hope you do not take this personally, but I don't believe that any of you guys are the best people to do that. And you have this cursed party member with you who is presumably very eager to make his way into town and get this curse removed. Which you guys are just right on the
Trying to
outskirts
get out
of.
of here.
So there's a puto you need to meet. His name's Cade.
It starts with a K. King.
Don't say it 3 times.
Condom.
Hey, he sees you when you're sleeping and he knows when you're awake, fool. Let's go.
campus.
And you guys make your way through Edgetown. As a reminder, Edgetown is this coastal city which has this like walled market district. And when you last left it, there was this lord's estate and this large like refugee camp about a week and a half ago. Now the refugee camp is completely gone. There is not a single tent up where it once stood. This is the place that has the Salty Lantern, which is that like beached ship. This is the place where
we got our stuff stolen.
Yeah, where you got your stuff stolen. This is the place that has the large fortified castle out on the water, which is like, the closest thing to a guild's headquarters that exists in Edgetown. But at a unremarkable door in the walled market district across from the apothecary run by a kind, if not, we'll call her quirky old lady, is a, unimposing door, a simple wooden door with simple windows, and an unimposing facade, with a bell coming off of it, and in like a magical language that is always decipherable by the reader no matter which language they speak. It are the words, "Please ring bell for service."
What I see?
You walk in here. Edgetown didn't exist a millennia ago, and there was a small road here, but the road essentially travels through Edgetown and
Like a
into
footpath?
and into it's like a long haul road, right? Just barely dug in, but it seems to run through Edgetown and continuing north, but where there was where there should be a desert, there is no desert, and this road just like continues along the foot of the mountains continuing north.
Okay.
I would imagine there's also a road to Isolde, because isn't that an ancient city too?
That's the road
Okay.
that he's coming from. Like
Oh,
that's
gotcha.
the road
Okay,
that he's
yeah.
on. Yeah, that's like
Okay.
behind him.
So I'm just blind, or I see into the past, but my hearing is from.
Right, exactly.
What's around
But you can
currently, okay.
this road. You can see
hustle
this
bustle.
road. You can see this road. There's just no town there, and it never hits a desert. By your eyes. But you're standing in front of this building. Ring bell for service.
What the fuck? Where the hell do we get a bell from?
See, I told you, fool. It's so unremarkable.
What is?
This fucking house, fool.
What house?
The house.
Simone, that's
God damn
me.
it.
He can't see. Well, at least he can't see right now. I mean,
What do you
he
see,
can't
fool?
see what's happening right. Never mind.
Your mom's so old, I can see her right now.
Nice. I'm gonna
I
give him
would
a
argue-
pie and wait for a high five.
After like 10 minutes, you're like, too slow. So then you ring the doorbell, Joe?
Yeah. Ding.
And the bell rings, and there's this like slow whirring into that like bell that you hear like behind the door, and there's like a sound of something settling, and it's weird because these are audible noises, but you would expect like it sounds like a stone golem walking through, and you'd expect the ground to be shaking, but it like doesn't. It's just a sound from inside the house, right? And then the lock clicks and the door opens, and you guys find yourselves I may have to change the light source on this. Can you see it?
I can see.
Got
Okay,
it.
great. I thought I did that for everything. I must have missed it on the world map. I think because I updated it. I never did it for the update. You guys have this, you guys are in this space which has display cases and a countertop with different like magical baubles and bits and pieces. Every single wall is surrounded and filled to the brim with books and bookcases. There are like the lighting sources all around are these like crystalline, like arcane based lights. And for even those of you who aren't spellcasters, this place like reverberates a sense of magical energy that you can feel the moment you like step into it. And it's one of those things where the only other experience that any of you guys would have had like this would have been like walking into the dragon's lair, where like, you know, the dragon had made that place his home. He's a very magical being. Like, you know, bad guys have like lair actions, which is essentially a result of them like pouring their energies into a place. Like, this has a lot of those same elements in it. Like, obviously Cade has been here for a while and he's a very powerful wizard. And you know, you guys are getting more powerful. It's a little bit less of a big deal now, but initially this warning was to remind you that fucking around results in finding out. But here you guys are, and just like before, standing at the end of this corridor is this wizard, this wizened old man, who most of you recognize as Cade, though a few of you, or at least one of you, is seeing him for the first time. And from here, and he addresses... And you do not see anything. You're inside this place. It's still dark. But the difference is now you truly don't see anything. You're blind with the helmet and you're blind without the helmet. Like, this is interfering somehow with whatever the magic is.
I'm just going to be like, oh, God damn it. I'll take off the helmet, put it back on multiple times. Like, can't see shit.
I'm going to be like, we did it again, fool.
Take it easy, dude.
Just wait till I can see again, you piece of shit.
Hey, don't talk like that in Kate's house.
My God!
God bless
How
you.
long has it been? A week? And you smell like the undead shit each and every one of your pants. A week and it feels like years. You smell like cheap portal magic and what is that, pine needles?
Oh yeah.
God, I hate the spring. And look, one of you put the helmet on. How lovely.
Choice! I'm just yelling into the void.
I suspect you're not just here to stand around.
That's all I can do.
Explain what happened?
Do you have a bath, fool?
I wave my hand and the smell is gone. Or maybe it's just your senses.
Yeah, fool. So we made it past the orc camp, which we took care of pretty handily, according to our wizard friend over here. I'm gonna point to Atesk. He fucking blew up like half the fort and shit. But that's just us kind of bragging. Getting to the main point you're interested in, fool. We finally got to a seal day where we faced off against Saltwing, fool. Are you familiar with him?
Another dragon. You faced a second dragon finally.
Yes, his name is Saltwing, fool.
Oh, a dragon.
And
What did you receive
in his lair,
dragon?
we received the helm of the four winds, fool. And this puto, well, honestly, it's kind of my fault. I thought like
this thing, we got this.
I thought like it would help us against like the dragon and shit, but it turns out it has made this puto blind.
So you're saying that all of the things that I told you when you were here last time, you ignored.
I thought there'd be like a boon and a curse.
Yes, he did, Your Honor. Yes, he did.
What would happen if you activated the artifacts, and yet here you stand with a blind idiot,
Hey,
and another one with a shield whose name is Reed, who can't fucking read.
That's not true.
He's been working on that.
I can read
We got
well
all
enough.
the way up to W, fool. All right.
Watch him spell his own name.
I can read.
But you do have a point. We kind of acted without thinking, fool.
Well, the blind guy got us out of there.
yeah.
Well, that's kind of impressive. I'll give that. Bring the idiot over here.
I'm gonna grab his hand and just drag him over there.
Like, he was talking to you.
Oh, no, wait. Which one are you talking to? It really does narrow it down.
Bring the one with the helmet to me. I'm afraid that none of you have been educated. I'm worried. Why would I want any other person to come over here?
You said idiot. That describes a lot of us.
Silence. Bring your head to me.
Is that a cast or like I'm actually like you're just telling me to shut up?
You probably have the power to silence him if you think Cade would.
I do not.
Okay.
At this point, I will admit I didn't expect you to return at all. So the fact that you're standing here is kind of impressive. With that in mind, I will do you a second justice, which will be to uncurse this poor man. I take the helmet off, I look at it, and I inspect it closely. What did you see when you put this helmet on for the first time?
It looked like the past. We were in the ancient city, which we traveled through before getting the helmet. It was ruins. And once it was placed upon my head, unwillingly, it looked like the ancient times. And the city wasn't ruined. It looked like it was in its golden age.
Was there a portal there?
Eventually, we found the temple of Iomade. We did find a portal that I
don't
tracked.
care about her.
Oh.
No, I mean in the ruin. What about there? Was there any magical places? Anything you saw when you put the helmet on?
Yeah. No, when I put the helmet on, but we fought the dragon. There was a portal.
It was. What
Yes.
happened to it?
We broke it.
I'm sorry. What?
The dragon or the
We
wizard.
broke the dragon. We broke the dragon.
We broke the dragon, and the dragon broke the portal.
You can't break the portal.
Tell that to the dragon.
You might want to talk to Wilb about that one. He says otherwise.
I'm very frustrated.
This is fine.
This fucking changes things. Basically, the situation is this. I now have to put this helmet on to relieve you of your curse. But what it will do to me, we don't know. Before I do this, is there... and again, not sure exactly what's going to happen here, but if you have something to ask me or tell me before this happens, please do so.
What's the third artifact we're looking for?
That's the ticket, isn't it? I'm not exactly sure. It came back a little quick, though it felt like literal years. I am...
Broken. The fourth wall has been broken.
I feel that more information is needed. I put on the helmet.
And you're placing the helmet on, Cade? Cade places the helmet on, and a couple of things happen. The first is that, like, as it like kind of cinches around his scalp, there's like a ripple of magical energy which like runs from the kind of like the Batman line that is visible down and on all the like portions of his exposed skin, which are really just his hands, his neck, and his face. This like shimmering energy like stays close to the skin and begins to like separate into packets, and those packets begin to like flatten out, and there's almost like a scaly element of like this opalescent light, and in addition to that, the like eyes, while dark when Kythar was wearing them, have like light behind them on the mask that they did not have for Kythar. Kate.
So Cade becomes scaly?
Not he doesn't actually become scaly. It's like mage
The
armor.
magic.
It's like mage armor sits
Okay,
on top of your skin. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one
I'm gonna
with
be
the,
like,
the one with the shield. What's his name?
I'm Reed.
Oh, you again. Come over here.
Okay.
He tromps his way
I
over.
like to move. I
Wait, what?
inspect the shield, and there's something on it. I can't quite make it out. You can't see it. Be quiet.
Oh, okay. just try to help.
I need. This seems familiar. I need something. Your god's journal. Iomade. I need her journal. That's gonna be the next step of this process.
You need Iomede's journal.
Yes. Aren't you one of her servants?
I am. I don't know where to find the journal, but I know people who might.
I
What
thought
are
you
you
had the
waiting for?
A boat?
Well, that's gonna be a little more complicated.
Unless you can get me there.
I need some time. Give me some time. That's not the only thing I need. Besides the journal, come back to me. Leave me now and give me time with this helmet. There's more to be discovered.
how much time, fool? We gave you like a week, and apparently that wasn't enough.
I silence you and send you outside the room with the wave of my hand. I don't mind a little insolence, I won't lie. I think it's cheeky, but at some point, calling me fool over and over again, you find out. The rest of you, get the fuck out of my house.
Out of my house.
shit.
As soon as I'm gonna just go like a white blank stare and just turn around and walk out.
Totalist.
And as you guys make your way out, and I want to remind you guys that like Rowan was basically like standing in the back of the group. Like I heard him once. Somebody like mentioned a dragon. He was like, "Ooh, dragon!" Like I like to imagine Rowan just like sitting back there as the peanut gallery, like oohing and awing over the like little elements of the story as they come out. But he expels you guys from his tower. Tells you that he needs some time. Though the exact amount is not determined, many of you have things that you are interested in doing. At the very least, a lot of you are physically weighed down by the weight of your coin, which has not gone unnoticed as you have made your way through town. And continuing to walk around with bulging bags is going to be a recipe for disaster. And so we are going to kind of roll ahead into a final conversation outside of Cade's house. Anything you guys want to say to each other here in Edgetown before our break? And then we'll take our break, and when we come back from break, we'll split you guys up, do like a quick couple of minutes with everybody to get them through their downtime, make sure their items get purchased, information that they're looking for, all that kind of stuff. And then if we have time for it, which I hope we do, we'll have you guys' like follow-up conversation with Cade. So you guys are outside his tower. And knowing that when we come back from break, I'm going to want to split you up and go into downtime activities. Do you guys have anything to say to each other?
I'm going to tell them if we need Iomede's journal, I'm going to Otheris. Anybody that would like to go with me is more than welcome. And we can finagle gold later, however we need to do that. But that's my plan.
I'm gonna summon Wilb, and he's gonna like come out of the portal. He's a size category large dragon in the middle of town, so it's gonna
cause some chaos. No, for sure.
Cause a little chaos.
Yeah.
But he's gonna be holding bags of gold, He's gonna drop it in front of Will or in front of Reed and go, "Here you go, sweetie. You said to get it to town, and we got it to town." And then he's going to walk right back into his portal. And it goes, shh, and it's like the Terran reality goes back.
So you now have the excess that you could not carry sitting at your feet in the middle of a town square.
Yeah.
While you still have no extra room to carry it. Read.
This is not the ideal time. Well, can you come back, please?
Will's got to help me, fool. We got enough money to start our business now. Man, I've had so many like fucking ideas. Me and him. It's gonna be the Dragon and the Puto. That's gonna be our name.
The D and the P.
Well, I'm gonna need some help here to load this on a boat.
Is there,
I
do I see
need
a
to find a
wheelbarrow
chest.
for sale?
I need to find a chest to put it in there, something I can lug it around in.
You see like a random beggar. He's like, "I'll help you."
No, there are a bunch of guards that have gathered around because of your dragon, because of Wilb appearing. Even though he was only there for like a moment, you know, he was enough to like get everybody's attention. These like guards came out and they like watched you dump a bag of gold and are. You know, they hear you say that they need help, and all the guards are immediately, like, offering to carry whatever gold you need them to carry onto the boat.
How many? Well, I guess the question is, how much gold do you give me? So how many guards do I know? Because each one I'll give like 10 gold pieces to, or maybe 5 gold pieces. We'll start with 5. And if that's not enough, we'll give him 10.
Wilb. How much extra could Wilb carry besides your bag?
He can carry up to size category large 9 bulk. Because I noticed there's a difference between medium bulk and large.
So what was that? What was that coin count? What was that coin count?
Here, let me get that for you right now. So are we just going up to encumbered?
Well, I'm assuming that. So I'm assuming that he's got a bag of your 60, right? I'm assuming he's got your bag packed full with 6,000 coins in it, which would then mean that I think you said it was 90, so we'd have another 30,000 if he was carrying everything he could carry.
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So I mean, these guards are willing to help carry it for you if you're going to take them up on that.
Yeah, I mean, however much Anthony is giving me, I guess. I don't know. It's
another bag. The idea is Simone loaded up his bag full, gave it to Wilb. Wilb had 30,000 coins worth of carrying capacity left over after that, where he got a second bag, which was your excess.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would have 15 then?
You have whatever you can carry plus the 30 that Wilb just dropped at your feet.
Oh, 30. Okay, so I've got 9,000 on me. So
you have 39,000.
Yeah, so assuming that No, but I can carry my 9, so assuming that
he's not a math guy, so you know.
Assuming a guard could realistically carry, how much gold can each guard carry?
Well, have you asked any of your? Hey, fool, have you asked any of the people who we trust first?
I did.
Who are they themselves carrying their max capacity?
Right.
I'm not.
Not one, not two, fool. 2. And I'm gonna point at the druid, and I'm gonna point at the little weird-looking dwarf guy.
Thank you for reminding. Rowan, would you like to go to Otheris?
Well,
and I'm gonna hold out some gold. If you can help me carry this too.
I do. I mean, I can help you carry it to the boat, but I do have some business in Karak I need to attend to.
Okay. What about you, Galfast? Have you made a map of Otheris yet?
I've not been there.
Well, could you help me anyway?
Sure.
Got Banjo here.
Well,
and little guy.
Little guy is not very strong.
Do you want us to take it to Otheris?
Say that again?
You go, Anthony, and then I'll go.
I say little guy's holding like one coin piece. Is like,
No, he's got
SpongeBob episode.
he's got 5 coins in his hand, but each of them are held between 2 fingers because he has 13 fingers on each hand. So he's just like pinching a bunch of individual coins. Fingers
You're an
bent all the wrong
abomination,
ways.
fool.
Not so proud of yourself.
I'm pretty handsome, fool. I'm
I'm
get
just-
my goatee go.
Okay. You're all right.
Yeah, so I'll get help from them, and then have whatever guards I need to help me carry it over. I'll
Sounds.
give however many I need to, 10 gold apiece.
They take it from you, and you notice that when they put it into their bags.
I'm gonna be watching them though. I'm gonna be watching.
Roll a perception check.
Hey, keep an eye on these guys, will ya? I'm gonna say to Rowan and Galfast.
All right.
They look great.
Yes, that's 26.
You see as they are all like eyeing extremely greedily your bags. You don't notice them try to like sneak any amount out. But when you get to the like destination, and after you've like found the boat that you want to charter, and like ultimately where they need to drop these, they like walk onto the boat. They like drop them down. In front of you, they reach a hand in, just like scoop out a full ass handful of gold, and each of these like 4 or 5 guards just like puts a handful of gold in their own coin pouch, and they say, and they brush their hands and say, "Let us know if you need anything else," and they wander off.
Motherfucker. How much gold did they take? I guess.
I mean, a handful, probably 100 gold apiece. How many gold coins fit in your hand? 50, 100.
I don't know how big are the gold coins. I guess.
But we'll split the difference. We'll call it 75 gold coins apiece times 4 guards. So 300 gold total across 4 guards.
Plus the 10 that he gave him.
I don't know that he would offer to give them gold. Did you pay them up front or did you pay them upon delivery?
I would have paid them upon delivery.
Yeah, then
Okay.
then they've been paid.
May Iomade remember your deeds.
And without turning their heads, they like jingle their coin pouches and yours.
Okay.
Wow, I'm
So,
so
yeah.
proud of you, Joe. I'm so proud of you. A year ago,
You
guys would not have let that shit slide. A year ago, that everybody would have been up in arms. There would have been a bloodbath in the streets.
Over 10 gold.
Over less than 1% of your total haul. Man.
I'll be fine. It's fine.
Love it. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to say to each other while you're still together as a cohesive party before you kind of break and then to rejoin in a number of weeks when your business is concluded?
I'm gonna be like, so like 4 weeks, fool. I think that's what I'm gonna need to establish contacts and get routes going, fool.
I don't know how long I need to go to Othirus, David. So
You can
that's-
make it there. You can make it there and back in 4 weeks.
Okay, yeah.
So 4 weeks.
And I'm gonna look at A-Task and be like, what are you gonna do, puto?
We'll learn more about the magic in the weapons, or the armor and the weapons.
How you gonna do that, fool? You staying here or where you going?
I'll probably go to the... shit, I don't have a map in front of me.
Karak? With
Karak,
the with the
Yep.
So is that where I'm gonna look at reading, but is that where you're going, puto?
Would I have to go up around Karak?
No, because you're going to Othirus here.
I think I would have to go around.
Oh, that's a journey.
That's a journey. Yeah.
If you can make it there in 4 weeks,
Yeah.
damn.
That's why I was asking.
Do you have fast travel?
It's gonna take. I mean, he's gonna be journeying for most of his time. Like he's really only gonna be in Othirus. For
I guess
like
there
a
are
couple of
rivers
days.
that connect.
But there are rivers and things, and yeah, I mean, he can. There are a couple of ways there. He could probably make it. But like keep in mind, you guys were literally here. Like this is your week's travel on foot. Was
Yeah.
that distance. But you can travel much faster by ship. So also keep that in mind. Okay, so then if there's nothing else.
Break time.
Then I'm going to call break. When we come back, we will handle everybody's individual business. We're going to fly through that as quickly as we can. Just want to give really the intention is to give everybody a chance to spend the money that you just got. But I know there are also some like informations, and likely everybody will make at least one roll. In some cases, more than one, depending on what you're trying to do. So it is 8:19. Call 8:20. Call a 10-minute break. We'll be back here at 8:30.
Sounds good.
All right, guys.
All right.
Right.
mute. Okay. My audio's coming through. When do you guys say something? There you go. I saw that come up on the desktop. Okay, great. Welcome back. Hello. Welcome back. We're here. So at this point, Morty, at this point,
I know, right?
each of the... God, I love that show. Each of our players have their own... We were actually just talking about this off camera. Have their own things they'd like to do. They have these, this armor set that they're essentially assembling on behalf of Cade, this wizard. But they all have their own lives. They all have their own goals. And he's specifically told them, I do not have the next location for you. I am not prepared to give you your next leg of this journey. And for a lot of these your characters, money is essentially now no longer an issue. You are kind of like at your own whims to do what you like with. And I have this kind of short list of those things. So in no particular order, let me see here. Session planning, downtime. Arthur's at the top of that list, but I'm actually going to skip him, and we're going to come back around to him. Oh, Galfast is next, and because of the same character, that was the whole purpose of this. So we'll start with Galfast, and then we'll do Arthur. So Galfast, what would you like to do with your downtime, briefly?
I was planning on... Well, not everybody knows this, but I've come from Karak, and the guy that raised me, he was like a local crime lord. And he got murdered for some reason, and I'm going back to Karak to try to figure out why is who did it is one big part, and then also I'm trying to find out and set up like a black market for some sort of I don't know if Galfast would like trade in like drugs or some sort of like weapons. I'm not sure, but nothing good.
So I've got that piece for you. Galfast starts in Edgetown, and it will take you guys a day or two regardless. Even those of you who are like heading out of town, it will take a minute to charter a boat to get things together, which will give you at least some time here in Edgetown. During that time, with your particular skill set, you discover that in this community there is, essentially a thieves guild. They call themselves the Black Moths, and they operate out of the Salty Lantern. And so that you were not a part of the party who stayed at the Salty Lantern, so I don't know if you have that kind of context because your character came in later. But you would at very least know like where that place is. Taverns are one of the first places you start asking around for these kinds of networks, and you find one, and they, you start asking the right questions. People, it's one of those things, you ask the questions and then later people find you, right? And so this happens to you and you get approached, and your willingness and your like background already, you name drop. Would you, I guess I'll ask you, would you name drop your organization in Karak if you knew that this is like Edgetown's, Thieves Guild? Like, would you go for clout and recognition, or would you, knowing that that'll get you up the ranks more, or would you play that close to the chest and start as a total newbie?
Would I the Black Moths, have I heard of them before, or is this brand new to me?
That sounds like a good roll. Why don't you roll a knowledge check? Whatever you've got.
The first skill roll.
Whatever you've got.
Okay. What knowledge do I have? So
I don't know. I'm looking for you right now. You are fucking Galfast. You've got skills. That could be.
I mean, my society is pretty.
Lore skill. That's your underworld. That's your underworld lore skill. Is what that is.
Oh right, I had blinked about that. Why is it? It didn't come over into the program. Hold on.
I see it. I'm looking at your hand under course. That's how I got there, because I'm looking at your character sheet. It's like right in the middle. There's core skills, and then there's lore skills, and then there's attacks under your hand proficiencies icon.
Yeah, I literally don't see Underworld there. Let me. Wow, that is weird.
You really don't have it?
I I could be fucking blind here.
I can see
So
your
look on
modifier.
David's.
I'm about to say,
Look on
yeah.
David's stream. Yeah. So
Hand,
under
core,
proficiencies,
lore.
Yeah, mine is blank.
That's a
Yep.
trip. We will work on that
sure,
mechanically later. It's a
what is
plus.
it, a plus
It's a plus
11?
11, so you can just do it manually with that bottom right deal. Hit a d20, make sure you're getting the plus 11 modifier on it, and just roll it that way. Thank you, Anthony, for working on all of the add-ons.
Ayo.
8 plus 11 is 19. I would say that the name is familiar, but you could not name a single like member. You know what I mean? You know of them of an organization, but no effective knowledge.
Okay, if I know of that, also I figured out it was on me. I had Banjo the Badger. So the Badger does not have Underworld, just in case anyone was curious. So mystery solved. All right.
You pulled
So,
off
okay.
the mask and it's yourself.
Well. Okay, so coming back. So I would mention the guild that I was a part of. If as long as I recognized the Black Moths, I would mention it.
Yeah, you recognize them, and you recognize
Even
them
if
as
I
a
don't
quote-unquote legitimate, black market, behind-the-scenes, non-legal organization, right? You then get the benefit of... Give me just a moment. Black Moth. I love Control F. Bring me to anywhere it says Black Moth. Great. So you get to skip straight past the shroudling level, which is like the tag-alongs, people who like aspire to become like members of organizations, and they basically like promote you straight to Gloom Scout, which is like a junior member. So you're not a full-fledged, you don't have rights, you don't have like access to the secrets, but it's basically like a merchant. Like they'd trust you if you said you were going to sell something and like deliver, profits minus your cut back to the guild. Like they would let you do that and not just like be like, who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? Like that's what your clout gets you. As you're talking with them, they make it clear that they do operate in both sides of your interests. They do sell magical items outside of the guild influence that are essentially untaxed and unregulated. There are certain items that you're just not allowed to have or sell. And this would be the kind of place where you need to get something like that. Something like that would be, there's this stuff called ghost paint where you paint a wall and it like makes it transparent and it just like creates a door anywhere. Basically, it's like outlawed everywhere because obvious reasons, because it's just creating doors everywhere. But like that's the kind of shit that you can find like here in the black market. Also on the side of drugs, this location specifically, about a week and a half ago, not maybe 2 weeks ago, there was a dead sea creature called an aboleth that just showed up on the side of the road that an adventuring party was like bragging about having slain, and they had like refugees with them that were claiming that they were saved by these people. So they sent folks out because aboleths can like create this like illusionary magic that enthralls people. And they basically have these like sacks that can be harvested to create a drug that like blisses people out. And so they like had access to this recently because one of these things just like showed up dead on the side of the road and nobody harvested this shit. So they did. And now they have this stuff that they like need to sell in their bigger market of Karak. And so if it sounds like you're going that way anyway, they would kind of initiate you by being like, if you can sell this and bring us back, a profit from it, then we'll promote you again. We'll trust you a little more.
And say, yeah. How hot is this stuff?
And they said pretty hot, but Karak's pretty big, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Just don't act suspicious.
That's not a problem.
Suspicious. Don't act suspicious. Don't act
I'm going to leapfrog to Arthur, who is looking for a family heirloom, I believe. He's like resupplying, and then The only other note I have for him is that he's looking for a family heirloom.
I think he messaged us the same thing. So yes, he's resupplying. He's buying food, blah blah blah. And yeah, we're looking for a family heirloom. He didn't mention where he's going, so maybe he'd ask around town if there's like an eclectic merchant. Well, it'd probably be Karak, right? I mean, that's the
right. And he needs to check. He needs to check records. Is what he needs to check. And Karak is like the wrong direction because his family is based out of Bayorma, which is down here, like past Othyris, pretty far away. But he knows he probably can't get all the way back there in time, so I think he would just go to Karak and check the records there. Maybe he'd hoof it with Reed and split off at one point, but that would be... He could either check the Othyris records or the Karak records, so I guess you have to make that call for him.
He would go to Osiris.
Okay, great. So then he'll mob with Reed, and we'll have you do a roll for him when we get to Reed. After Edgetown, I know that you had mentioned going to Karak, and I believe we have other players that are going to Karak, jumping to Simone. You are heading that direction, correct?
Yep. Well, first I was gonna buy in Edgeville because they had a Merchants Guild there already, right?
They have more of a warehouse in Edgetown, and inside the warehouse are some offices, but it's not a proper guild hall.
I'd be going to the proper guild hall.
Okay, that's in Karak.
Yeah. Yep. Then that's where I'm going.
Okay, great. Is Rowan also going to Karak?
Yeah, Rowan would be going to Karak because he has that summons with the. Oh crap! I didn't write down. What was the name of the group?
They're the Order of Mana.
Order of Mana.
Great. So I believe the three of you are the only three going to Karak. Is that correct?
I'm going to.
You're also going to Karak.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I want to make sure I'm grouping you guys together. Is there anything else you do in Edgetown, I guess, then Tyler, before you went to Karak? And same for Rowan.
No, I'm antsy. Want to get out of here.
Cool. Solid.
Well, backwater town.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will have you note, Tyler, that Atesk people are definitely whispering as you guys are walking past. And that's happening for a number of reasons. You guys are carrying a lot of money. You guys smelt like the undead shit down your pants. It's there were a couple of different reasons for people to be looking and whispering. But you're getting extra attention. And you suspect that it has something to do with these robes that you're wearing that have the regalia of the College of the Arcane Arts embroidered into them and are an identifying factor of that faction. So
I also have one thing to do before we leave, unless we're going to do this as a group. The idea was that we had to speak with Lord Olderbrandt because we went on a quest for him to kill all the orcs and bring back their teeth and stuff. I don't know if that's necessarily a party thing or if that's just a I did not want to forget that because we did do something for him.
I forgot about that. And it's funny now, right? He's going to break out his silver coin purse and pay us 2 silvers a pop, and we.
No, you guys dumped out all your tusks. You don't have. Yeah. You're literally just reporting a job done because you carried back your weight. As much weight as you could in gold.
Right, and that's fine, but it would be more of hey, we did something for you. We don't need the gold. Consider this a favor for Edgetown kind of thing. I can even spin it that way if we need to. But I don't care. If this is a group thing, we'll save it for then. But if this is if we're not planning on touching that again, I'd like to at least address it with him.
That's a question for your party.
Yeah, I feel I don't need to be there for that. That's all you, man.
Yeah, it'd be good to do.
How about this? We'll just say that those of you who would have wanted to be there could be, and it's one of the first things you handle before you leave. A couple of things to note there. Lord Orldebrandt was the Lord in Irigan. The one here was Lord Estebar. Estebar was here with an R. Yeah, Estebar was here. You go to meet with them. They do want to take your weapons like they did before, and he is not there. his son Willem is ruling in his stead, and he's kind of douchey and hot-headed, and you guys like bumped heads earlier. So like he didn't really sound like he was like. He almost sounded like he was trying to weasel out of paying you guys anyway when you walk in and are like, we don't need the money, we could use a favor. I'll take a diplomacy roll from you just this guy does not like you in the first place because of your previous meeting. So to like overcome that and to like reach, to like have the good faith meeting that you want to have, like let's boil that down to a diplomacy roll here for you.
Okay. I'd also, let me just make sure here. I'd also like to use my feat glad hand.
Okay.
Which allows me, when I meet somebody casual or in social situations, I can immediately attempt a diplomacy check to make an impression. If that changes what I'm trying to do that with that is essentially like change his perception on me. You know what I mean? I know he's like trying to weasel his way out and stuff, but
I'll let that happen here. It sounds like the intention of that is the first time you meet somebody, but because we were not playing the system the first time you met him, for sure it's appropriate to do here. So absolutely.
Okay, cool. I'm trying everything. You tell me what I can do. Ooh, not a high one. 25.
25 does not beat a douchey DC.
Yep.
So he still starts off as upset with you as he would have been, but go ahead and make that actual diplomacy roll now for that interaction that you're having with him. So you didn't gotcha. Step him up. You didn't use that ability to make him like you more, but you still get an honest crack at that conversation.
Okay.
29. Dang, would have loved the extra into 30. Here's what I'll say about this, is that there's no love lost between you guys. He's not grateful that you guys did this, but he's careless in the way that he like speaks. Like he's not used to being guarded about information and being like princely, and he's kind of a douche, and he is kind of a hothead and brags and that kind of stuff. And he's bragging about how he's in charge because his father's gone. And his father is gone with a like complement of some house guard and some of the local Edgetown guard that are under the control of the overseer, who is the head honcho in that fortress that is the like guild warehouse. That a contingent of them like set off towards Irigan, and he name drops this like colloquial term that is not immediately familiar to you, but the context of it becomes clear enough that like there is a magical resource in the swamp that used to get shipped out of the swamp that is not anymore. And because he's like bragging about how rich his family is going to be when like you may have killed a dragon and but we're going to be we're going to have generational wealth beyond numbers. You'll spend that gold, it'll be gone. This money will come in for the rest of our family's lives. And he's just like being a fucking shithead about it. But he's like referring to some kind of like industry, some kind of like magical harvesting that's going to happen in Irigan that it seems like his father is like spearheading in order to kind of get a leg up and gain control of it for his family, right?
Okay.
Cool. So I'm really glad somebody checked in with that, because I was wondering if anybody was gonna fucking do that at all. Okay, you guys head off to Karak. There's a boat that heads out to Othyra simultaneously. You guys, say your goodbyes to each other, knowing that you're going to be back here in a few weeks, and are off. Let me see here. I need my cheat sheet. Just a moment, please. Okay, we've got Galfast here, who is doing some research. Galfast, I need you to make another Underworlds check for me, please, while you're here. I'd also like a stealth check from you. As we've got an Underworld check of 21. Okay. Oh, you got to love that. Galfast, anything that you are trying to keep out of the public eye or out of your fellow travelers' eyes, you are successful in doing so. You spend your time here performing the kinds of things that we were talking about. Now, unfortunately, your underworld check was not quite as successful as your stealth check. So though you are completely undetected in your process of doing so, this new place definitely plays a role. And a big part of that is as the ship comes in, there's just hundreds of other vessels out here in the water. This town is built out of like sandstone, and there are just people and stalls everywhere. As you make your way through the city, there's like an arterial system of almost like these like stalls linked together where occasionally, the alleyways will open up and there'll be bigger like plazas, which are kind of like proper marketplaces, but everyone is selling something here in Karak. There are millions of people here. This is the number one most populous place in the world of Valmina. Probably a third to half of those people are under different levels of servitude, most of them under the effects of a blood contract, which may be seen as barbaric by some, but here is completely acceptable to they are contracts signed in the contractee's own hand, the slave's own hand. But once they have done so, they are beholden to whatever the contract says, and whoever holds the contract until it's surrendered, to the point to where if they try to do things that are not in that contract, they will start like bleeding through the nose, bleeding through the eyes, bleeding through the ears, until eventually they like straight up die. Like you do what you're contracted to do, or you die. There is no in between. These people all have like symbols on their foreheads, usually with almost always 4 out of 5 have one of the Merchants Guild on there, as they seem to be the primary people holder here in Karak. But all of the guilds seem to have at least some level of these guys. There are couriers, lots of like the Couriers Guild, who are just people who are like sent back and forth, delivering things, delivering messages. And it's perfect because, if they tell anybody else a message that they're not supposed to, they literally bleed out and die. And so if there's if there's been a breach somewhere, and there's outside of the city walls are just miles of slums where people live who refuse to sign these blood contracts, but have no livelihood and are forced to steal and kill and barter. And this is a very like cutthroat community, right? As you guys are out here. So I want to like paint this picture. There are nicer parts of town, primarily those which are guild controlled. There's a huge presence here. But like the city guard is a joke. There isn't really a city guard. They're all guild guards, and every city guard is paid by one of the guilds anyway. So it's one of those things where like the uniform somebody wears doesn't matter. It's who's paying them that matters. And you can usually tell who's paying them by who they're guarding and protecting, right? And so business is done a little differently here. For Simone, who's trying to get himself established, he's going to be working more on the above board side in the, guild halls where things are going to be a little more, a little easier to, to get a legitimate business established there, right? But you all get the sense there's lots of illegitimate business, which also happens here in the city of Karak. Because it's this huge populous center, it is essentially the capital of Bellador. Not really, they're all individual city-states, but this is where places like the Order of Mana have chosen to hold their headquarters, and they are basically a chamber of druids where each druid sits on a throne chair tied to the element of their home place. This place doesn't care about cities or continents. This place cares about mountain ranges and forests and deserts and oceans. And each one of those types of places has a chair made of rock, a chair made of wood, a sand, stone chair, one that's like, water that's not ice. It's just like this magically held water where like these each represent different like districts, where each different district is its own natural place, swamp, forest, mountains, and each of them have access to a particular ley line. But that kind of thing is here because Karak is the place where all the people are, and this is like where people come to meet, and it's this like big population center that's not ruled by a tribal like a dwarven city or an orcish city, right? Simone, I have for you to make me let me see. I want to look at your skills real quick. I have diplomacy written down, unless you have something else that you think would be better for like establishing your network. Mercantile lore skill maybe would be the one to do. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that instead. I'd love a mercantile check from you. Even a 1 will result in some level of success. You're pouring a bunch of money into it. This is more an efficiency question. Ooh, yeah, buddy. Everybody wants to make money in Karak. Everybody is selling something. Everybody wants to get rich. People are looking to buy their own freedom. There are a million different industries which exist in and around Karak, and some of them are legitimate and some of them are illegitimate. But if you're looking for some place like a niche, a hole to fill, you kind of put 2 and 2 together, and you hear talk of a shortage of this like red algae, which comes from an isolated swamp region that like there hasn't been any new shipments coming out of, and it's used in a religious rite for people who travel to this like oasis in the middle of the desert, and it like protects them. It protects people who don't have magic from like the elements. It's like a natural magical way to do that, where you don't need like a guy to cast a spell on you. And so it has this like ceremonial effect, and it has this, there's like always a need for it because there are always religious people everywhere. And like this thing is drying up. And so there's no real way in and out of there. You do know that the local lord was literally heading in that direction. So, I will kind of leave that up to you as whether or not that's something that you would pursue. There are also legitimate magical items which always need to be like shuffled and moved around and guarded. There are like people, like important. There are a lot of important people here, and where there are important people, there are like very specific needs. So there are a lot of like merchants who work for nobility and who work for like prominent guild members, and they're almost like a private business tied to more of an individual than like a market. And then finally, there are, this is a coastal city, and so there are tons of ships that come and go, and you like literally have enough money to buy some ships and to crew them. And the Ireshire Sea is a huge shipping lane, where a lot of goods get sent back and forth, and a lot of stuff comes into Karak because it's a desert and they can't fucking grow anything here. So, so they're always like needing basic supplies. Like there's no wood around here. You can't grow food in. Like this is fucking Las Vegas. Like everything has to be shipped in. They can't do anything on their own, except make and lose money, right? And so those would be the 3 like obvious avenues that are in front of Simone, with your mercantile role there. And I will kind of allow you to tell me how much money you want to invest in getting that off the ground, knowing that I would say 3,000 to 4,000 is a minimum for like starting equipment, getting people on staff, especially if you're doing something like buying ships. That number might go up a little bit, but you can invest as much as you want, knowing that like that is the more you invest, the more volume you can handle, and in theory, the more money you can make, right?
My plan was to invest 20,000.
20,000. For 20,000, I'll give you some time with that while I hit everybody else. Think about kind of which of those 3 avenues you're most interested, or a combination therein. That's a big enough number that you can invest in all 3 markets if you wanted to. Bumping down my list, I actually, before I'm totally gone, Galfast, with your check, you also do find somebody to sell your goods to, and it's basically up to you whether or not you want to like report that honestly to the guild in Edgetown, or whether you want to pocket that money for yourself. But with your underworld check, you absolutely did find somebody to sell that stuff to.
Okay.
Then I've got Rowan, why don't we jump to you, my friend? You're here in Karak. You've got a couple of friends. It's taken you guys a while to get here. You've gotten to know these guys a little better. This business is pretty solely yours. Anything you'd want to do in this town for me specifically? Or are you just like reporting dutifully?
He'd probably first try to see if there was any greenery, like a park or like any type of like trees in Karak. And he would kind of slowly spend his time with them in the meantime before he went to the Order of Mana.
There's basically no plant life anywhere to be seen. There's the occasional tuft of grass or small shrub. In the more wealthy guild districts, there are things like palm trees and a little bit more of that kind of greenery. But those are only in like kind of like the highest echelons. Most of those are like behind gated areas where you could, stand on one side of a gate and talk through it kind of thing to a tree. But there's extremely little of that here. But you do find the occasional like desert critter or insect. There is a little bit on the fauna end, but basically anything that's big enough to eat, you don't see. There's like nothing. Like if it can be killed for sustenance, it has been killed for sustenance in this town.
Okay, then yeah, he would visit what he could before he went to the Order of Mana.
Great. I'm looking at your skills now. I think I would like a herbalism lore check out of you if I could, to like impress upon this. It'll color how this interaction goes with the order. Oh man, love to see that. You get there, and the order is run a little bit like the DMV. You do have to wait for a little while. They've got lots of people there who are trying to see them on varying levels of business. In the lobby, you hear things, as minor as can't they do something about all these sandstorms, all the way up to, people who are like desperately relying on them to conjure water. Otherwise, they're going to like die, and so you're here listening to these people. Eventually your number gets called and you are, in this chamber that I described that has all these different, chairs and different regions, which and understand from your just like travels and previous life experience, like what this place is and what they do here. And they're kind of responsible for like being Captain Planet, right? Like they need to, like if your mountains are being overrun, if the course of nature is being defiled somewhere, they're
Captain Planet.
They're the UN of of natural bullshit, right? And so they're here, and they're as they're speaking with you, they are telling you that in individual districts of theirs, as where the roots of the forest intertwine with the deepest roots of the mountains, there are whispers carried across the entire continent, and your name has reached their lips as as like the true harbinger of the Emerald Mountains, and they essentially offer you offer you a seat at their council as a new natural district, and it's one of those things like you're not expected to sit there. Druids are often in their home districts or dealing with personal business or whatever, but it's this place that you've heard about that abstractly does business out there, and now your name has gotten back to them, and they are specifically asking you to perform a duty that you have previously done, and that is shepherd this land and ultimately do what you can to protect it as its first line of defense.
Okay. Rowan would be honored and probably would accept the position.
They say great. They say the first order of business is collecting resources for your seat. And they say, and they tell you that you can return to them anytime with whatever material of your choosing from your home district. And it's just like your responsibility to, like, at some point in whatever time you have to go do that. Like, you are a week into your downtime. So if you wanted to, like, drop everything, go do that now, you could probably in 3 weeks manage to get home and back. If it was something you wanted to kind of slate for later, there's no time limit to it. But that is the long and short of this meeting, right? Is that your next step is building your seat, because the person who sits in the seat is the person who gets a vote.
Okay. Yeah, he would run home.
Okay, cool. Would you, you have a unique district that kind of has two, like, natural sources. Like, your seat I could see built out of either, stone or wood, or some combination of both. How does Rowan feel about that?
It would be wood.
It would be wood? Great.
Yeah.
So, I will, again, kind of in the same way, let you think about that, any way you want to describe that, anything that you want to, like, pitch to the order before you leave, or information you want to ask them. Like, I know you literally didn't know these people existed until this session, so if you think of some stuff you want to know from them, let me know. We'll talk about it. We can work it out. Just know that, like, they are totally accepting you among their ranks because of the deeds of your past life. And the way that you composed yourself at this meeting, like, solidified that, and, like, it's that kind of, like, inherent trust that these natural folk have for each other,
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Which brings me to my boy Tesk, who is looking for items, spells, and information. There's not a point blank college here, but there is a large guild library, which you could pay to access to. It's a very reasonable daily cost of use, but it's not like a free library. It's like you pay a gold every day to go, and you can be there for as long as you want and, like, learn as much as you want. But, like, they don't serve food, they don't whatever. So, like, there are some people who are super poor who, like, go there and, like, use magical means to sustain themselves for as long as possible. You have so much money that, you could just pay the gold up front every day, live your life, stay at a tavern, whatever the fuck you wanted. But I know that you were looking for a couple of items as well. So for you specifically, I have, because you're looking for movement speed stuff, greater boots of bounding or regular boots of bounding, your call. Greater, I think, are 4,000. Regular are like 400. Regular give you 5 extra feet of movement feet. Bounding greater gives you 10 extra feet of movement. And so that's something that you would have access to in Karak if you wanted to buy something that would give you movement speed.
For sure. I definitely would pick up the greater boots.
I thought you would. So
I purchased it, and it took the money out of my character.
Sweet. Then then gotta love Foundry doing what Foundry's good for. I know I'm on, like, minimum functionality right now, but that was my goal, was to be able to do stuff like put your money and get this item. This is the item you want. Okay, as far as information goes, what's your knowledge skill, bud? Because so far it's been pretty on the nose for everybody.
Yeah, it's academia.
Academia, you know what? That sounds like exactly the right skill to roll for what you want to do, my friend. So why don't you do that for us?
Go figure. Go figure. Before that, I'm going to cast Detect Magic because my blood, whatever feature of my sorcerer, whenever I cast one of my blood magic spells, I get a +1 to my skill checks.
Okay, solid. So you're getting yourself warmed up magically. You're getting yourself warmed up.
Yeah, I'm just cracking my fingers, getting it all.
I got you.
All done.
I got you. A little prestidigitation to get the magical juices flowing.
All right, not bad.
Okay. Yeah. Let me see here. Okay. So you.
Oh, nice roll.
Yeah, yeah. So you were looking for like a number of pieces of information, but most of them seemed to circle around like the gear, the curse, the history of this stuff specifically. Do I have a correct interpretation of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Here in Karak, you have access to real information. This isn't some backwoods place with a guy who has some money who has like a private book collection. This is like one of those great libraries of the world where just finding what you're looking for is a challenge in and of itself for people who did not spend their early years growing up living on site in a college. For yourself, you navigate this place like a breeze, pulling books, tomes on ancient histories and like long lost forges and like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 different methods of infusing magic into items, building them in other planes, taking energy from those planes for items you've built here, infusing your own magic into stuff, infusing the magic from the ley lines and the natural energies of the world of Valmina itself. There is religious, items which are infused by gods and things, and you make, I would argue, one of the major breakthroughs in this case, at least for the information that you guys have on this stuff, that is like Joe, minor spoiler, is looking to go get a craftsman in his holy city to build a sword for him, which is going to be infused with, the magic from his faith and his god, and like that's the flavor of magic that gets poured into that. For these kinds of items, like curses are a little bit different of a vibe, and like there are creatures that are capable of cursing stuff, but like it's one of those super tricky pieces of magic that like humans and dwarves and like non-elves have a really tough time with, and that like the elves are widely, despite the fact that there are not very many, actively wandering around Valmina, they are, still one of, if not the oldest, like race of being that live on Valmina. And the magic that comes from this, like, is at least as old as the elves are, if not older. Like, you are almost certain that a man, dwarf, orc, like, there's no way that they could have done this, just because, like, they're generally not capable of doing this. And this would be something that would need to be administered by somebody who, like, you trained at the college at a college for a bunch of your early life, and have like decades of learning, that somebody with centuries of learning would need to be able to do the kind of thing that is done on these pieces, and to undo it, the logic would also travel through as well.
Okay.
So there's your soundbite, and then I suggest you look at tomes also. But go ahead.
I did both. So I have a question. Is there like one concise text on this topic? Like a summary text or something that's more informative? Do I find something that's more informative than anything else? Like that I would maybe want to keep?
There's not, but you are there for long enough that you could literally author one yourself.
Okay. And then I'm going to send you this item really quick, and I want to buy for the tome, I want to buy the major version, which is the 4,000 version.
Okay. Sounds great. I will, I'm sure, approve that. Just send that to me, and we are going to keep on keeping on. The elements of spells plus one item bonus to learn a spell. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yes, that all. That's golden. You're super golden. There are. Before you make this purchase, I guess I do want to let you know that there are people who would sell like spells and like knowledge on how to do that. And they probably would be a similar cost. You know what I mean? To just like have somebody teach you a spell would be, neighborhood, couple thousand as well. Is there a specific spell that you would want? We'll call it 1,000 per spell level. Is there a specific spell that you'd want to try to find somebody who is selling, or would you want this grimoire?
I think for now I want the grimoire, but it's good to know that I could come back with, a spell in mind and try and learn it. I also may ask my party to teach me some spells at some point.
Yeah, you know what? And this is the kind of thing that, downtime is great for. Okay, is that all of my Karak people?
Besides knowing what you want me to do, yes.
Besides knowing what I want you to do. Oh, yeah. Did you, have you settled? Do you want to take the week or do you know now?
Yeah, I think my plan is to... the idea is to transport and protect magical items for noble guild members. Okay,
so you're gonna do guild work specifically for as high up the chain as you can.
Yeah, while also dabbling in transport.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Land-based transport.
Yeah. Yes, because that's what my parents did.
Love that. Okay, cool. I will probably need just a touch of time with that now that I know what you've selected. But I'll probably I'll probably send you a blurb between now and next week.
Yeah.
And then for mine, you had me roll Underworld, and I know I have the option to now sell and keep some money for myself. Was there anything else for me at this point?
Yes, but because you rolled a natural 20 on your stealth, I don't really want to talk about it over open mic, so I'll probably send you a blurb in between sessions.
Sweet. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry, you rolled that would be your luck, right? The one natural 20 you roll short sticks yourself in the session because you're so secretive.
That's a perfect outcome for what's probably going to
happen. Great. So then everybody else is going to Athyrus, correct? I'm gonna start with Kythar because I didn't get anything specific out of you, man. Are you just gonna go hang out and pal along?
Yeah, basically so. I was blinded up to the fact of adventuring, and then last we all three chat about that I was gonna go on to there and basically start devoting not my entire life a paladin, but starting to become a believer.
You spend a month in religious school.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
I'm in catechism.
I love that. Are you still? I don't think
drinking?
that Iomade has an issue with alcohol. But are
okay.
He does not.
He does not. Oh wow, interesting. Love that. But I was.
What about?
He's actually best friends with that. Oh, fuck, what was that other god?
What about
Cassius? I think is his name.
Yeah. He's actually my god of my other campaign.
Okay.
I was like, ask Lita.
Yeah. All right.
She glowed everything.
That brings us to Baby Boy Reed. Then Soto, because you've got such a minor role, just let me know if there's something specific you want to do, or if you want to, whatever. So that brings us to Reed, our last guy. I'm actually looking at our time, so we probably will start next week with Matt. I'm just looking at this. We'll probably blow through Reed and then reconvene you guys in Edgetown, give you a minute to talk about what you've learned, and then break our session for the night. But you have traveled to Athyrus. You have, all this money, and you have to watch it like a hawk during the entire journey. And it's a good thing that you're going with Kythar and with Arthur, because without 2 other people to watch the bags of gold at night, like, you are certain that most or all of it would have gone missing, right? Despite the fact that it's an isolated ship and there's nowhere to go. But you get there, it's a homecoming for you. You have not been back in a long time. You never had a family here in the traditional sense, but you did have the church. And Othyris is this city that is built above the cloud line into the sheer cliffs of a mountain which overlooks this like inland sea. And it's got these like steep zigzagging back and forth, not ramps, not natural. They're stairs, carved into the mountain. And there's a big like visage of Iomade in the back, and like at the very top is the like temple itself, where the government is housed and where like documents are kept, and it's like the big important building where like business is conducted. And so
Business.
Yeah, and so you need to go there, and you also send off to get. You like commission a blade, and the blade that you tell them, build me the best that you can, and the best.
I do want to step in
Yeah, go for it.
on the build.
Yeah, sweet.
You let me know. You tell me yes or no. Can I give him my +1 Warhammer speed Warhammer to enchant as well?
Yes, this is the kind of thing that they could add enchantments and stuff to. They specialize in things like holy and anti-undead runes, but they do have access to some like natural weapon runes and like other things. So if you want to take some time looking at runes and send me a pitch, then you can absolutely get something infused here. Yes.
To whoever I'm giving this to with, also I want to give them my shield so that they can have some time to study it. Or do anything else that they might see fit.
Okay. So you give your shield as well to them while you go. So I guess the price tag for your item, so is going to be like 15K for an item. I will. The one that I found that I think is what you are looking for and what you can find here is a celestial peachwood sword. So go just put that in your compendium. If it looks like it's worth it to you, you can buy it. If not, you're welcome to pick up whatever else you want.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that later.
Great. Just make sure it makes its way into your inventory before all is said and done, if you do in fact want it. While you're here, I'm assuming you're going to ask around and try and find this text and get access to it, right?
Yeah.
That's a diplomacy unless you can pitch me something better.
I could do diplomacy.
I'd probably take a religion here. I mean, it's about a religious text you could use. Yeah. You could, I think it's appropriate for you to leverage that.
Sorry. Wow, that's so for all of our checks for each of us, we've rolled 18s pretty consistently.
It's because the dice also have a story to tell, and the dice are like, it's been a while, guys. I know that some bad rolls resulted in some deaths, so we're gonna give everybody lots of information, everything they want, and everything's gonna be fine forever and ever, right? Right. So you.
Why'd you say something?
Wait till our first death save roll.
I know. And I'm about to say, I'm excited for the next couple of weeks. You guys are, you're there, you are looking for a copy of this text. You grew up here. You have contacts here. There are people you were literally kids with who are now like working as secretaries and like library workers and like clerks and stuff like in this building. And so you don't have to go through the like normal channels to get this stuff. You can like lean on people that you already knew from your life who are now who did not get put in like your class, your like adventuring class. They got put in these other like clerical classes, and so you have access to them. And of course they're not going to get you like the actual book that is the journal, which they do claim to have. But they say that they'll work on getting you a copy. They can't make it happen right away, but they absolutely do produce it before your time in town is up. But it's one of those things like that's the last thing you're waiting on. As soon as they produce it, you're like, shit, man, we gotta go back. We're running out of time. Like, if we don't get on that boat tomorrow, we're not gonna meet the guys in time. But you are able to like acquire this journal. Is there any other questions you'd want to ask the people here while you're here? I know you were talking about wanting to like throw some money at them for some support.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, if I only come back with 1,000 or 2 gold, I'm pretty happy. Like, take the 15,000 and then seriously, whatever like support we can get, whether it's scholarly support or manpower or people like sending people out in the woodwork to go and look for other clues and things like that on what's happening big picture with all of this. News.
So here's what I'll say about that is basically what you're able to do with that amount of money is you're able to. I'm referring to these places as like schools. They're like tracks. You can straight up create a new track that is relic outlook, that is draconic studies, that like you are going to have to put the term on that. But you can, it'll take some time. Like they're just going to get it started right now. And then the kids are going to have the new batch of orphans will go in. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things. But let me
up what the new batch of orphans.
Let me know.
Let me think about the name.
Let me know what you want them, what they want them on. But you can just establish a new school there. Okay.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Okay. So then, Kythar, you let me know what runes you want, and we'll just like retroactively roll that back in to saying that you get your your upgraded weaponry. Anybody else? We're at the end of the session now, so effectively, it's not going to make a ton of difference if you text me over the next week and be like, hey, could I also buy this? Hey, could I also infuse that? But full disclosure, as of 6:30 next session, when we start streaming, like this is all going to be behind you, and you will have like had your chance to spend your money, buy your stuff, get your gear. And, if you want to buy more stuff, you have to like go somewhere that has it again. Right. Yeah. But the 4 weeks passed, you guys all handle your individual business. Did anything come to anyone that they want to handle or get clarification on before I move you back to Edgetown?
Yeah, I was just hoping that with my dealings with, with the merchant seal, that maybe if they've heard any inklings of, because my other ulterior motive was to get more information. Like, hey, have you heard anything else about dragon cults? Have you?
I forgot that you had that dragon cult bit. So I guess I will add 2 things. Just like Galfast learned before he left that there's a thieves guild in Edgetown. There are a couple of religions in Edgetown. One of those minor religions that doesn't have like a building but has a shrine that people gather at is they're referred to as the Keepers. And they are like kind of in the same way that like we might talk about furries, they talk about these guys being associated with dragons. Like it's their thing, and like they really like dragons, and I'm not really sure why, but they're like super into them, and like they are really powerful, I guess. But like there is essentially like a cult. They call themselves the Keepers. That have a single crazy guy who's in Edgetown, and you are led to believe that he has like people he talks to, like he has a small following there. But while you're in Karak and asking around and you have access to people, you hear some whispers about like a takeover happening, and you don't get anything on a cult of dragons, but there are like reports that Irigan was leveled by a dragon, and that there's now a power void there, and that there are like big moves happening at the merchant guild levels, around that. The details are a little fuzzy, but you get the idea that like after your conversation with Willem, that like these both can't be true. Like Willem and the Estebar family can't make out like kings if the Merchants Guild also takes over and runs this industry. Like, somebody is wrong, and somebody is not going to end up in control of this. But from what you've heard, both sides think that they're going to.
Okay.
So I will add that piece of information as well. Then we'll handle some of the nitty-gritty of last stuff that you guys pick up. You all find yourself back in Edgetown a month later. At this point, spring is drawing to an end, and we are coming to the last week or so of it before, as the weather begins to heat up and we start rolling through time here. You guys are all here in Edgetown. I want to give you guys, as players, an opportunity to be in the same room again one more time before we end our session. And then we will probably start our next session with you guys speaking with Kate again. But you guys all find yourself in Edgetown. Some of you getting off the boat from Karak, some of you getting off the boat from Othyris. What do you guys all meet up at the Salty Lantern, presumably? There's another sailor's bar called the Screaming Falchion.
What's the one that was kind of nicer? That was like from an old. Because I remember that in Edgetown there was like the basically, what's the one from SpongeBob where they're like, they have to say, "Why are you tough?"
Yeah.
Greasy gasket, salty spittoon.
Yeah, the salty spittoon. That's the Salty Lantern. And then there's the family-friendly Chuck E. Cheese version of that. That's like an old boat. And that's the one that I think we got everything stolen from, right?
No, you're flip flopped on that. Yeah, the Screaming Falchion was the sailor bar, where things are pretty rough and rowdy. Things were also pretty rough and rowdy in the Salty Lantern, though. It's that kind of place for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't call either of them family friendly.
I meant the one that's not just all sailors.
That's the Salty Lantern.
Yeah, the Salty Lantern.
That's where Alphas would want to go.
Okay.
That's where Simone knows he would find the rest of his adventuring party at.
Then you guys, one by one, filter in, grab a drink, reminisce with each other. But it's clear that like something is happening here tonight, and there's a lot of like anticipation for something, and every single other person in the Salty Lantern, which is pretty full tonight, is holding like some kind of like flower or rose or like pretty petaled thing. But you guys all filter into the Salty Lantern and have an opportunity to address each other for the first time in a month. Is it a warm welcome? Are you guys more excited to see some of your party than others? Are you tired of traveling with those you've been with? Where are you guys at?
What up, you greasy bastards? How do you spend your money?
Well, I didn't spend any money, but I'm happy to see you guys again. New friends, always great to see. New faces.
I forgot you don't got money, and I'm just like I have a couple of fucking coins like ringing through my fingers.
Couple of coppers.
Does that get attention from anybody else in the bar?
Do you get attention from anybody else in the bar?
Kaithar.
Oh, Kaithar.
When he's doing the...
You guys have a reputation in this town for sure, and there are like eyes on you at the bar, but more eyes keep flashing towards the door, and towards the center, and towards the center of the room where a few of the tables have been like pushed together to form what might be a makeshift stage.
Somebody performed.
I'm gonna kind of lean over and be like, through my dealings, fool, I heard there was some like big ass greasy bastard that converted to religion, and I knew instantly who that was. But your mouth don't sound like it, fool. And I'm talking to Kaithar.
Your mouth still sounds like shit.
I never said it was anything better, fool.
Oh, sorry. I meant it smells like shit. My bad.
Hey, I think Cade gave you COVID or something, because you can't.
The fuck's COVID?
This is a fantasy game.
It's a spell, fool. You wouldn't know. A-Test would know. Where the hell is he?
Speaking of Cade, though. Oh, go ahead.
Sam, I'm right here. Just, hanging out.
Oh, shit. Jesus Christ, fool. I didn't even see you there.
Like Bubbles in Trailer Park Boys just popping up out of nowhere.
Exactly.
Honestly, that's a running joke that fits for a task.
Also, you see, I'll send this to you, David, just so you're aware of what I'm buying too.
Yeah.
But you see, like in the front of my explorer's cloak, like this etched in pattern of like dragon wings going across my chest, like that. Like it's clearly, an addition to my armor. And I'm gonna go to A-Task and be like, "What did you get, fool? Don't tell me you spent the whole time like fucking studying like some nerd."
I got a book.
He wrote a book.
And I got these new kicks.
Dunks, Nike Dunks.
Dude, I'm new boot goofing.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna say, let me try those on. I like your shoes. Let me try them on.
All right, don't stretch them out.
They're actually too big for you.
They're way too big for me. I put them on, and then I walk to the bar. Well, where would the black moths be?
You freaking saunter in those boots.
They operate out of what used to be the lower decks, which is now like kind of tilted to its side and partially submerged.
Perfect. So at some point, Galthas would go down there with the. It'd be the gold they were expecting, but minus a little whatever the average rake is for the delivery. I'd take a little more.
Yeah, I got it. Your underworld skill was middling, but your stealth was so damn high that I think that they were
too damn high.
I'm gonna say too damn high. I think that they were expecting. They were probably expecting, like, hoping for 1,000 gold. If you were good at your job, you could have gotten them as much as 15, and you sold it for 25. So you could pocket a cool 1,000 and still, get them what they expect to get.
Yeah, and I definitely want, however the payment to go. I want them to know that I took some, but they know that the delivery person always takes some.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's business as usual for them. They assume that the amount of money that you hand them is minus your fee. And that's kind of how this business works, is that you don't have a set fee, they have a set expectation for how much they want. And however much more you can get out of it is all the better for you.
Like drug dealers.
That's what they are.
Well, I prefer the term pharmacist.
What's a thief? I'm not a thief. I'm an item relocator.
What was the name of the drug? I know I wrote down where it came from.
Give me just a moment. I did name it. I don't know if I told you what the name was.
Fire moss.
Galfat. It's called Sorcerer's Smile. Is what the name of the produced drug is called.
Okay, thanks. That's my little cutscene then.
Okay, you are down there, and this place is even the behind the scenes is pretty empty. Like most people are upstairs in the area, in the main area, and that doesn't surprise you because of how packed it was. Everybody's seems to be in anticipation of something, holding these flowers, and you guys are you come back up and see that there's a large figure that is dominating the doorway so wide that that they have to turn sideways in order to get their hunched form through. And with an awkward shuffle and some large wooden object in their right hand, they clank, hit it against the side of the wall, and it's not a stringed instrument because of the kind of hollow sound it makes, but but they they shuffle sideways and into the light, and they kind of like make their way over to the bar, and there's a drink like sitting at the end of the bar waiting for them, completely untouched, and in the lantern light, those of you who have spent a little time in Edgetown and who had the interaction in the graveyard after your items were stolen recognize this figure as Hood, the simple-minded graveyard attendant who led you to the like sarcophagus that had the darkness in it, where some mysterious figure tried to get you guys to swap out a sending stone for Willem and to get your stuff back, and you guys were like, we're not fucking doing that. And Cade kind of took care of you and got your stuff back anyway. But like there was this guy who was the keeper of the graveyard, and he's the one who shuffles in. He was like super. He was like he's a simpleton, like like not the kind of person that you would expect to be at this event. But the note that you got was Hood loves flowers, and you all had like a crystal flower. For those of you who like lost items, right? He shows up. He shuffles his way over to the stage. He like takes a sip of his beer. He sets it down. The place goes totally still, and he puts this this whistle, this thing between a whistle and a flute, to his mouth and starts playing it. And it has like multiple chambers and like harmonizes with itself, and it like perfectly fills the room. And every performance, every note is a natural 20 level success coming out of this guy. Like the different patrons are like brought to tears. It's a single song. It's a single 5-minute song that he plays. He finishes his beer. Everybody like lines up and like starts putting the flowers in his empty beer mug at the end of his performance. And he smiles. Everybody like pats him on the back, and he like shuffles his way out the door and back across town to his graveyard.
So he's like an idiot savant, kind of.
It's obvious. It's obvious that he's well loved in this community.
Mm-hmm.
You see, Galfasti has like underneath his eyes is like it's very clean, like it was just washed, but the rest of his face is really dirty. But there you go.
Little dirt smear under the eye. Yeah.
Simone would be like, does he take coin? I don't got like flowers and shit.
And one of the patrons says, "No, you can't pay him. Who likes flowers,
Maybe Rowan can conjure some flowers."
Oh, I'm good at finding flowers.
Perfect.
Reed would ask like the nearest patron like what song was that, if it like has a name or any like just what he plays.
He just shrugs. He says, "It's a Hood original."
Hood original. That's a song title I haven't heard.
Oh my god. And he goes, "Why does he like flowers, fool?"
Another shrug. I mean, he like takes a big sigh, and he's like, "I don't know if you noticed, Hood's not the most handsome fellow. I think it has something to do with that."
Something ugly liking something pretty.
He takes a swig of his drink. He says, "I know if I were that ugly, I'd want something pretty in my life."
Especially since you're like fucking digging graves and shit.
He's like, "That too." He's like, "Probably doesn't help that." He says, "Now that you mention it, probably doesn't hurt anything that flowers smell good and bodies don't."
Is he the only one that works in the graveyard, fool?
Yeah, I mean, when it's time to bury someone, the people who love that person usually come together, but he's the only one out there digging graves, the only one who lives out there. It's a pretty simple job, right? I mean, you just got to dig holes and put people in them. I mean, you don't got to be a genius to figure that one out. The church handles
so
some of their
does-
own business, you know, but
Does Hood come in every night and play?
once a week.
I'm gonna look at what day is it?
It's the fantasy equivalent of Friday.
Okay.
the last day of work in the week.
Yeah. Gotcha. I'm just gonna be like, and who taught him how to play?
Nobody knows. Some people say he taught himself. Some people say he sold his soul. Some people say it's a magic flute. He shrugs. I don't know. All I know is I've never heard anything so beautiful come out of anything else ever.
Huh, you haven't heard me sing, fool.
You gonna warble out of tune right now or what? do I get to ask for a performance check from you?
No one's asked. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Oh, no. Let's hear it.
Oh man.
Give him a beat read.
I'll give you some gold for it too.
I don't know this song, fool. I don't know this song. All right?
Oh man.
I'm not here to upstage anyone.
I love it. I am going to just reground the party for a moment. Is there anything else you guys want to share with each other while all this is still fresh? You will get a chance to talk amongst yourselves before you talk to Cade next session too, but I just want to make sure I don't cut the session short and not give somebody a chance.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say, while you putos were out there buying your warbles and your whatchamadoozits, I actually was like gathering information and shit, making contacts.
That's cool. I started a school.
I also spoke with Lord Olderbrand, fool. Well, not Olderbrand, his son, fool Willem, and he kind of bragged that his dad's out in Jurgen right now, saying there's like some sort of fucking magic out there and it's gonna make him rich. But when I was doing some work for the Merchants Guild, fool, they said that they have control of the power of that magic, or there is some sort of source of money from Irrigan. Either way, it seems like there's like more fucking eyes on Irrigan. And also, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's no like fucking refugees anymore. Where they all go? It's only been like a week, right? Oh, well, I mean, it's only been like a month, right?
Oh, you know what?
I don't know if
you can answer that. Your time in Karak with the Merchants Guild, they straight up talked about a new influx of blood contractees that got displaced from
gotcha.
somewhere. Like you know
Okay,
what
I
happened
do
to
know
them.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, I do know that. It's like, well, all the refugees got new jobs.
Well, good for them.
But I don't know if they're happy about it, fool. But at least they're alive. But either way, it seems like there are more eyes going back to Irrigan, fool. Some sort of source of magic in the swamp. I know we made friends with the lizard tribe out there, and I hope nothing wrong is affecting, nothing bad is affecting them right now, fool. I gave him my last thread.
That's right.
It's
You
like
did.
a sign of friendship.
That's right. You did.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're friends with them. Yeah. So I'm gonna be like, so I just hope that he's, his shield's still holding on with that thread.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like maybe we can let Cade know this information, whether he cares or not.
Well, I've got the journal that he requested, or I've got a copy of it. So we'll just give him all the cards and see what he says.
Speaking of what happened with my investment, fool.
Oh, you started the school.
Oh, what?
And I got this, and I'm gonna hold out the sword.
I'm gonna pat Simone on the back and say, "Congratulations on the school."
Did you at least name it after me, fool?
No.
What the fuck?
He scratched your name in the door though with a pocket knife.
Simon.
It may not pay off yet. Give it a few years.
Pay off what? My name's not even associated, fool. You just took my money and just
We'll do a founded by
An anonymous
founded by
donor.
him.
Reed and Simone.
Read Simone and Reed, fool.
Reed and Simone.
Oh man.
Reed and Company.
And what do you hold up in your hand, by the way?
The dope ass sword that I
Here,
had made.
you
for me.
click it. Put it in chat. Put it in chat. So they
What
can
does
see
it look like? Does it have like a?
Made of-
it looks like whatever you want. I mean, you can flavor it however you want,
I see,
Reed.
okay.
But
I don't know how I'm gonna flavor it yet. I think it's gonna be like.
It's a wooden sword.
Well, that's. I'll probably have it. If I can choose however I want it made, I'll probably do something similar to like what Iomade is.
Agile, finesse, vital. Oh shit, that's pretty cool.
it's pretty cool.
A +3 greater striking
Yeah,
and
dude.
2 property runes.
Yep. It cost him.
Guess
It
your money
cost
went to
him.
good use there.
Cost him a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Well, have fun with that, Puto.
I think it is.
Have fun with that, puto. I like to think he's got that exact same. He's got like some attitude, some like side eye. Like, well, fuck, have fun with that, puto. I guess. Fuck.
I mean, I guess.
And then David, I'll send you. I'm gonna be like, well, look at these cool things, fool. And then you're going to see like phantom wings like pop out the back of my armor, and it's gonna like start flapping, right? And they look like dragon wings, and they spread really wide. It's an armor rune that allows me to fly for a certain amount of time. And so I like hover myself in the bar, and there's like flowers flapping everywhere.
Right,
There's like petals in the air.
I got some flavor for you then. David, you know how we talked about the divine rage thing?
Yeah.
So he's like, oh yeah, well look what I can do now. So he's gonna take his sword and he's gonna like channel and he's gonna rage basically. And his eyes are gonna like glow and he's gonna turn Super Saiyan kind of.
Okay. While that's happening,
Now we can do
Galfast,
some stuff together.
Galfast is going to put his arm around Rowan and Atesk and say, have you guys heard of microdosing on Sorcerer's Smile? And I'm going to have a little bit in my hand.
Ooh. I'm a sorcerer.
Yeah.
Hey, Tusk is gonna get addicted. He's like selling his robe for more sorcerers. Oh man! But then he like pawns his robe off, but then someone buys the robe and uses that as like a disguise to attack somebody, and like his name. Anyway, where would I get that idea from? Anyway,
That's great. Well, it's coming up on 10, so I appreciate all the role play. I love the commitment to the game. I will absolutely give you guys a chance to reconvene together before your Cade's presence. But we will start our next session with, like, you gave Cade some time. You're going to come back. You're going to check in with them. Presumably, he will have some new information for you. You're all geared up. You have spent the lion's share of your dragon's horde, and have really started to like move and shape the world in the way that high level characters do. So I am excited to be able to have all these different threads to pull at as we continue to play our game. I'm so excited that we're back to this. I had a little bit of jitters to start, but I feel like we all just slid right into it and had a great time. So thank you guys for being here, and we'll play again next week.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
See you guys later. Next week, guys.
Bye,
Bye.
Thanks, David.
Bye. Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
David.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you, Dad.
All right, back in a second. All right. Whew. Well, holy Toledo. That was a night. Let me tell you what. But it looks like we done good. Oh man, there's people here and everything. Well, shit, guys. Thanks for being here. I didn't expect my first night back in a year to have the kind of folks here that we do. So Shoot, I was not ready for all this. Let's go find somebody to raid. God, I'm so out of the loop. I don't know. Is Berto still doing stuff? My man Jarl was doing stuff. Thank you guys for being here. If you're curious about the game, I've got a YouTube channel up that's got. It is admittedly a little spotty, but it's got some of the old campaign on it. That is, on the page. We are gonna see if any of my friends and comrades are on. Oh yeah. And Matt Colville's even on. Maybe I'll hop over and watch some of his stuff. He's a big D&D guy, game designer. Let me see. Jarl's playing Manor Lord, so let's go raid him. Raid Jarl of Goats. All right, well, thank you guys all so much for being here. We play Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Thanks so much. I'm so excited to be back in the saddle. And we'll see you guys next week. Say hi to Jarl for me. I'll say hi to Jarl. And thanks so much. Love you guys all a lot.